Hi guys, good morning. Audible to all. Can you guys all hear me? Can I say a quick yes in the chat box if I'm audible? All of you? Audible, everyone? Yes, rest of you? Alright, great. Everyone else? Can I say a quick yes if I'm audible? Great guys, so welcome to the last session of the social media marketing module. It's been absolutely wonderful interacting with each one of you over the last 4 weeks, and this is week 5. In the last 4 weeks, we've talked about an introduction to social media. You understood social media marketing. On the whole, we've looked at individual platforms. We've seen Facebook, we've seen Instagram, we've seen Twitter, we've seen Snapchat, right? And in this session, we'll talk about marketing on Pinterest. We'll also look at social media marketing tools that can help you make your life as a social media marketer much easier. And we'll look at social media marketing strategy as well. So how do you put all that you've learned over the last 4 weeks into an integrated social media marketing strategy that will set up your business, your organization for success, right? So great. Before we get started, quick question for you guys. How many of you have any questions from any of the previous sessions? How many of you have any questions from any of the previous sessions? No? Everyone else? Anyone with any questions from any of the previous sessions? Either on Facebook or on Instagram or on Snapchat or on Twitter? No? Assuming everyone's clear, so that's good. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the Q&A towards the end. So in the end, as always, we'll have a Q&A where I'll take questions that you have from any session, not just today's session. If you have any questions, let me know. Don't worry, I will not close the session until all your questions are answered. Right? All right, great guys. So can we get started with what we have in store for today? So we'll start with marketing on Pinterest first. Then we'll move on to social media marketing tools. We'll look at Buffer, look at Hootsuite, understand some advanced tools as well. And then we'll move on to social media marketing strategy. Right, so great guys, everyone all ready to get started? Can I see a quick yes? All of you? Can I see a quick yes, everyone? Yeah, everyone else? All right, great, awesome. Also, I think a few of you were not there in last week's session. A couple of you. Did you guys watch the recording? I think some of you are missing from last week's session. How many of you missed last week's session? Can I see a quick yes? Jayachandran, yes. I think a couple of you also. A couple of others also missed last week's session. Who else missed it? Sham also. Did you guys get a chance to watch the recording? Jayachandran and Sham? Yes, Sham says yes. Jayachandran says not yet. Alright, whenever you get time, do watch it so that you understand those platforms as well. Right. Alright, yeah, perfect, Jayachandran. Thank you so much. Great, so let's get started with the first part of today's session, which is on marketing on Pinterest. So before I get into this section, let's understand what we will cover. Right, so we look at what Pinterest is, especially for those of you who are new, understand how it works. We'll see how we can use Pinterest for business. How do you market effectively on the platform? What are the best practices for marketing on Pinterest? How do you leverage something called rich pins? And analytics and measurement on Pinterest. How do you measure the effectiveness of all the efforts that you're putting in? Great, so we'll begin with the first lesson, which is an introduction to Pinterest. Before I get started, quick question for you guys. How many of you are active Pinterest users, as in checked your Pinterest at least once in the last few days? No? Anyone active? Nobody at all? Anyone else? What about the rest of you? Are you guys active on Pinterest? No? Rahul says yes. What about the rest of you? Anyone else who's active? No, no one else active. Alright, is there anyone who, or how many of you have never signed up for Pinterest? Never signed up for Pinterest? Jayachandran says yes. Anyone else? Never signed up for Pinterest? Anyone else? Okay, Sham says no. I'm assuming that's not signed up. Alright, those of you not signed up, like I told you in the first session, if you don't have an account on any of the social platforms that we're going to cover, please do create an account. That way you learn a lot more about the platforms. You can actually explore them as we are talking about them and learning about them. So please do, if you don't have any accounts in any of the 6 social platforms that we've covered so far, then please do set up accounts and explore the platforms. You'll become better marketers. Just exploring them will help you get better. Right. All right. Great, guys. So those of you who are active, I think we have only one active user here, and that is Rahul. So what do active users do on the platform? What is Pinterest and what do active users do there? Why would people go back to Pinterest? What makes them go back? Photo sharing says Jason, all right. What else? For inspiration, yes, very good point, Gagan. What else? Good idea says Pooja, yeah, that's right. Good ideas, inspiration. Passion inspiration says Gagan, yes. What else? What else do you use Pinterest for? What else do you use Pinterest for? Thought says Rahul, yeah. Okay, so Pinterest, like most of you said, is a platform where people go for inspiration, for ideas, right? They go to see what, or if they want to get inspiration on a certain area or get ideas on a certain thing they're researching, they go to Pinterest. That's what active users go to Pinterest for. Right, so for those of you who are not familiar with Pinterest, for those of you who are absolutely new and never signed up, Pinterest basically is a visual bookmarking tool. So think of it as a tool that helps you discover ideas, and you can also use it to save ideas, right? You can think of it as a digital scrapbook. So those of you who were kids in the 90s, I don't know how many of you grew up in the 90s. Those of you who did, how many of you, or before that, how many of you had these scrapbooks where you'd cut out newspaper cuttings, magazine cuttings, and like file it or stick it? Did any of you have those scrapbooks? Anyone did? Let's say you found an interesting article in a magazine or interesting article in newspaper, interesting picture that you wanted to save. You would clip it and then put it in a scrapbook or file it in something. How many of you did this? Yeah, Gagan says R.K. Lakshman's cartoons from TY. A lot of us used to find those cartoons really good and we used to make a whole scrapbook of those cartoons, right? So, yeah, this was, if any of you were born after the 90s, I don't know if you did that. This was a very 90s thing. So I was a 90s kid and I used to do it a lot. I still have a lot of those clippings that I used to save, interesting articles that I wanted to read and save for later, because those were the pre-digital days. Today with digital, you don't really need those scrapbooks anymore. In fact, Pinterest is like your digital scrapbook. Let's say you're browsing the internet and you find something, like Jayachandran says, Kapil Dev and Gavaskar photos, or anything, any area of interest. So Jayachandran loves cricket. He loved Kapil Dev and Gavaskar, and he used to cut their pictures and, clip their pictures and put them in a scrapbook. Gagan liked R.K. Lakshman's cartoons. So whatever you liked, whatever you were passionate about, you would save articles, save pictures on that. Same thing with Pinterest. It's the same scrapbook in the digital space. Let's say you're browsing the internet and you find a very interesting picture, you find a very interesting article, or let's say a very interesting photo that you want to save. You can just pin it onto Pinterest in different boards, right? Pinterest has different boards. You can create different boards for different areas of interest and you can pin it, right? So Pinterest is nothing but a digital scrapbook where when you find something useful, something you like, you can just go and save it and you can go back and visit it or refer to it later, right? So that's in a nutshell a basic understanding of what Pinterest is, right? So it's also a catalog of ideas, like a lot of you said. People are looking for inspiration on a topic. You can go to Pinterest. So let's say you want to find ideas on doing up the interiors for your house. You go to Pinterest. Let's say you want to find ideas on a very creative gift to give your loved one. You could go to Pinterest. Whenever you're looking for ideas, Pinterest is a great platform for visual ideas, right? Pinterest is also a fully visual platform. You can't do text updates on Pinterest. Just like Instagram and Snapchat, Pinterest also is completely visual, right? That's another thing to keep in mind, right? So like I asked you, what do active Pinterest users go back to Pinterest for? And a lot of you said it's for ideas. and for inspiration. So if you look at what Pinterest users do on Pinterest, what makes users go back to Pinterest, and like I said, as a marketer, it's really important for you to understand the nature of the platform and the characteristics of its audience. That's when you'll be able to market better. So you can, as a user, bookmark or pin whatever you find interesting. Like I said, it's like your digital scrapbook. You can create boards, pin whatever you find interesting, and then you can use these pins for later reference. You can go back, refer to them later. You can also discover and save ideas for things you want to do. Let's say places you want to travel. Every time you find a beautiful travel picture, you can pin it onto one of your boards which says places to travel to or bucket list. And then you could, when you want to travel, just go look at your board and pick which place you want to go to next. People also go to Pinterest to research things they want to buy. And this is what makes it a great platform for business, because people do a lot of research on Pinterest. And if people are researching a product that you offer or a service that you offer, you want to be found there, right? So that's something important to keep in mind from a marketer's perspective, is that a lot of users use Pinterest as a research platform, right? So before we go on to Pinterest, right? Okay, Pooja says it displays ideas I'm interested in. Yes. So Pinterest also has an algorithm which shows you ideas that you would find most interesting, most relevant. I will show this to you when we go to the live platform. Shortly, I'll take you to Pinterest. And for those of you who are new, I'll give you an idea of how the platform works and what you can do with it as a marketer. And so before we do that, let's take a quick look at some basic Pinterest terms. The first one is a pin. So when you say pin, a pin is nothing but a post or a bookmark on Pinterest. So like when you post to Twitter, it's called a tweet. When you post to Snapchat, it's called a snap. When you post to Pinterest, it's called a pin, right? Then you have boards. So you can create as many boards as you want. Every board is a collection of pins, and you can organize pins into different boards based on different criteria that you can use to organize them, right? For example, you can create one board for travel, one board for your work, one board for, let's say, interiors, one board for everything you're passionate about, one board for, let's say, exotic food, one board for health and nutrition, right? Whatever you're passionate about as a user, you could create boards for them. Then you've got followers. So followers are people who follow your profile or your boards on Pinterest, right? Great. So that's an introduction to Pinterest and the audience there. We'll move on to using Pinterest for business. Before I do that, I'm going to take you through the platform for those of you who are new and show you some key things on how Pinterest works and what it looks like. But before I even do that, quick question for you guys. Any of you, any questions until now? Any of you with any questions until now? No? Everyone's good? All right, great. So on Pinterest, when you log into Pinterest.com, the first thing that you'd see is a screen like this. So this is my feed. Like every social platform that has a feed, Facebook has a news feed, Twitter has a news feed, Instagram has a news feed, basically showing you content that's relevant to you. So all these platforms have an algorithm. We've talked about it in each individual platform. Facebook, we talked about the algorithm in detail, talked about the algorithm on Instagram, right? The fundamental principle of all social platform algorithms is the same. It's basically, it will show you the most relevant content to make you come back to the platform. All algorithms have that principle, right? So that's something to keep in mind. We talked about Twitter, and I told you Twitter is a platform where it's the only platform which has only a partly algorithmic feed, and users can also choose to opt out of the feed. So as a user, you can tell Twitter that I don't want to see an algorithmic feed, right? All right, so when I scroll below here, you look at my feed, which is customized for me, right? On my feed, you'll see a lot of digital marketing posts because I use Pinterest a lot for work, which is where you can see this internal linking, how to start a creative agency, 9 ways to think divergently, right? So you'd see a lot of, again, you'll see health food because that's something I'm again passionate about. You'd see fitness. So it basically shows the feed customized for me, right? Likewise for you, you'd see a feed customized for your interests. Whatever you like, it'll show you. visuals based on that. Now we said people use Pinterest a lot for research, right? People use Pinterest a lot for research. So let's see how they do that. So if I go, let's say I'm doing up, I bought a new house and I want to do up the interiors. I would probably go to Pinterest and search for interior design ideas. And Pinterest will give me a whole bunch of ideas that I can look at, get inspired by. So people use Pinterest for inspiration. Right? As you scroll below, you'll see a whole bunch of ideas here, right? On which you can use to get inspired, right? So let's say, for example, I have an independent house and I like this picture. I want to do it up in a similar way. I can use this as inspiration. Now let's say I really like this chandelier on top. I think the chandelier is really nice and I want more ideas like those. I can just click on this visual search here, right? So I click on visual search. So first thing that it will do is it will pull up visually similar images. You see this? You see all the other images? How it pulls up visually similar images? Pinterest has a platform where the visual search is one of the most powerful. In fact, it's more powerful than even Google's image search. There are so many great pictures here and it shows you similar setups. You see this? All with a similar staircase in different settings. So you can look at different ideas, right? And it's all instant, right? That's a key reason why people use Pinterest for research is that the visual search is so powerful. If you guys, how many of you tried Pinterest visual search? How many of you tried the visual search on Pinterest? Anyone's tried it? Pinterest visual search. Any of you have tried it? One says Vishal. Anyone else tried it? Rest of you? No? It's even more powerful than this, right? If you look at this, so like I said, let's say I really like this chandelier on top. So I'm just going to zoom in on this chandelier here. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to zoom in here. You see this? The moment I zoom in on the chandelier that I liked, it shows me all ideas for chandeliers, right? That's how powerful it can get. It's an excellent platform for visual search. Let's say you like this mirror on the wall. You could just zoom in on the mirror and it will show you similar ideas, right? You see that? This is the key reason. It's in fact one of the key USPs of a platform like Pinterest and why people who are active love the platform, because it's a great platform for research, right? It has one of the best visual search functionalities. And the reason users who are active keep coming back is because they can use it to find whatever they want, get ideas on whatever they want. And in very short periods of time, you can do this really quickly. If you're researching something with such a powerful tool, it makes your research much easier, right? So those of you who have not tried it and not tried Pinterest, this is a great reason to use Pinterest as a user at least. And this is the reason people keep coming back, right? So we said people use Pinterest for one, research, ideas, inspiration, and I showed you how powerful it can be. The other thing that people use Pinterest for is to pin something they find interesting. Like I told you, a digital scrapbook. So let's say you're browsing a site. Let's say, for example, let's say top 10 places to visit in India. Let's say I'm reading a blog. And let's say I'm planning a trip, or I love travel and I want to see what are the best places to visit in India. So I click here on this link and let's say I'm browsing the article. And while browsing the article, let's say I love this image and I think I want to go to Dal Lake in Kashmir, right? I can just quickly pin it to my pin board, right? So what I will do is I will click on this save button here on the top left. The save button will come if you add the Pinterest Chrome extension, right? So you say Pinterest extension for Chrome and you can add this to your, so you have this Pinterest save button extension. right? So that's the link. I'm just sharing the URL for those of you who use Chrome. The moment you add this extension to Chrome, whenever you're browsing and reading any article on the internet, you will get this save button, right? The moment I click on the save button, it will open Pinterest. It will ask me to choose any one of my boards. So let's say I want to create a board called travel, and I can say create travel. It will automatically save it to my board. And when I go to Pinterest, I will find it there. So as I keep browsing places to travel, I can create a travel board and keep pinning these images where it says Dal Lake Kashmir. So now when I want to plan a trip, I can quickly go to my board, see all the places that I wanted to visit, and I can plan my trip there, right? So that's how you can use it. You browse any article on the internet, you can pin images directly from there to boards that you want to create or that you already have, right? In fact, I use it this way a lot. If you go to my Pinterest profile, so let's go to my Pinterest profile. So personally, I use it for work because whenever I find something interesting in the digital marketing space, I pin it to specific boards that I have for digital marketing. So if you look at my Pinterest profile here, and if you look at my boards, you see I have boards on everything to do with digital marketing, right from audience profiling to AI to conversion rate optimization to content marketing, right, to analytics to advertising to Facebook ads, Google AdWords, right, social media infographics, Instagram, right, LinkedIn, marketing automation, right? All these boards are largely digital marketing boards. Whenever I find anything interesting, any interesting picture on the internet when I'm reading an article, I just save it to my boards, right? For example, if you look at Instagram here, I just save all things on Instagram to my boards here, right? So then I make a lot of presentations. I do a lot of speaking. When I want to make presentations, I just come back to my boards, look at which images are useful, which images can I use for a specific presentation, and I pick it up from here. Right, so that's how I personally use it. I use it as a board for or as a place to pin all my work-related images. But everyone, different people use it differently. This is just me, and I wanted to show you how I use it personally. Right. All right, great guys. So that's an introduction to Pinterest and how users use it, what makes them go back. Just to recap, they go back for ideas, for inspiration, because Pinterest has a wonderful visual search tool. They also go back to create boards and pin ideas that they find to refer at a later point in time, right? Great. So again, any questions until now on Pinterest in general, the platform, the audience? Why does the audience go there? Any questions? No? Everyone's clear? All of you? Yeah? Everyone else? Can I say a quick yes, guys? Everyone's clear? Everyone? Yeah? All right. Great, guys. So we'll now move on to see how we can use Pinterest for business. Right? As a marketer, how do you use Pinterest? So with Pinterest, like we said, people use Pinterest to do research before they buy a product. So if you look at these statistics, you can see 87% of pinners have purchased a product because of Pinterest. 72% use Pinterest to decide what to buy offline. And over 5% of referral traffic to websites comes from Pinterest. Right? So as a marketer, Pinterest is a great platform to use to get people to consider your product and come to your site and buy or buy offline. Right now, Pinterest does not work in all sectors simply because it might not fit every sector out there. But there are some sectors where Pinterest works best. These are sectors that are largely visual because Pinterest is a very visual platform. So it works best in travel, fashion, beauty, food, weddings, and home decor because these sectors are all very visual, where you have great visual images, you can produce great visuals, So as a marketer, if you're in any of these sectors, Pinterest would be a great platform to use to get the audience to become aware of your products, also get them to consider it and come to your website or come to your store and make a purchase. Right? All right. So now that we've looked at where Pinterest works, when it comes to marketing on Pinterest, the first thing is to pick your goals. So your goal could be either brand awareness, engagement, or getting traffic to your site and conversions from that traffic. Right? So you could get people to become aware of your products, engage them, get them to click on your products from Pinterest, come to your site, and then eventually convert on your site, purchase products. Right? It all starts with setting up a Pinterest business account. Right? So on Pinterest, if you want to do Pinterest for business, okay, Jaychandran says request to go a bit slow when there's new concept. Yeah, sure, Jaychandran, I will. Anything until now, Jaychandran? Any questions until now? I will do that. Anything until now that you've not understood or that you want me to clarify? Jaychandran, until now? No, yes or no, either one. You can tell me either yes or no if there's a clarification required until now. How to go to boards? Okay, if you've just signed up for Pinterest because you told me you don't have an account, then you'll have to create a board first. Do you want to go to your boards or somebody else's boards? Do you want to go to your boards or somebody else's board? Somebody's? Okay, hold on. Hold on. I will come back to it. Hang on. I'm going to come back to Pinterest in the next 5-7 minutes. I'll go back to the platform again. I will show it to you then. Okay. And if there's something that you are, if you want a clarification, please ping it on the chat box and I'll clarify for you at that point itself. All right. Okay. Great. So I'll come back to that. But before that, when you're starting to market on Pinterest, you need to set up something called a business account, right? So in the last session on Instagram, we talked about requiring a business profile on Instagram, right? For you to be able to use it for marketing. Now, Instagram business profiles, we said why you need them because they help you with analytics and measurement. Same thing with Pinterest. If you want to use Pinterest for business, you should have a business account. So this is pretty straightforward. Just go to this site, business.pinterest.com, and you can join as a business, set up a business account. So if you want to use Pinterest for business, just go to business.pinterest.com and join as a business and set up your account. After you set up your account, which will ask you for your basic ID, password, and basic details, you can go to settings and link your website to Pinterest. Right? So you'd go to settings in the top right corner, and then it will ask you to link your website. So you can put in your website URL, say confirm site. And once you confirm site, it will ask you to put a small piece of code on your site to verify that the site is yours. So it will give you this code that you should paste on your site. You can just give this to your developer, whoever is managing your website. Give them this code, ask them to put it for you. If you're using a platform like WordPress, you can do it yourself as well. Right? So link your website. Now, linking your website has some benefits, which I will tell you about later. Right? Which I will tell you about at a later point. Why should you link your website to Pinterest? I will come to this point later. Some of you might have a question. How does linking your website to Pinterest benefit a user or a marketer? I will come to that shortly. Right, so for those of you who don't have a Pinterest account, one of the activities I want you to do after you go back from today's session is to create your Pinterest account and link your business website to it. For those of you who have a website, you can go to Pinterest, create a business account, and link your website to it. It's pretty straightforward. So after the session, I want you guys to go back and do this. Right? All right. So we've looked at Vishal says, can I link socials? When you say can I link socials, what does that mean? What are you referring to? When you say can you link socials, what does that mean? I'm not sure I got the question correct. Instagram. So Instagram to Pinterest, are you saying? I mean, you want to link Instagram to Pinterest? Is that correct? Well, there are external tools to do that. There's no direct way you can do it. There's no direct way to do it. Though there are external tools that will help you. You can try tools like IFTTT is a tool that will help you link different social platforms, right? You can also try a tool like Zapier. These are tools that help you link different platforms. But otherwise, there is no reason for you to integrate your platforms because that defeats the very purpose of the platform. Why would you integrate your platforms? Are you going to post the same content to all platforms? Are you going to post the same piece of content to all 5, 6 platforms? Is that a good thing to do? Okay, Vishal is saying from I don't have a website. Okay, no, you can't. No, you can't. I got your question now. In place of linking a website, can you link a social platform? No. No. You can't. You can't. Right? You can't. Okay. So ideally, you would not, Jayachandran also, you would not link multiple social platforms for posting the same content. Because like we've seen over the last 5 weeks, every platform is different, right? Every platform, people go to Twitter for a different reason, Instagram for a different reason, Facebook for a different reason, LinkedIn for a different reason, Pinterest for a different reason. When people go for different reasons, you can't give them the same content. In fact, one of the biggest marketing blunders to do is to blindly post the same content across all platforms. Right? That's not the best approach. Always customize your content to the platform and to the audience on that platform. Right? All right. So when we look at best practices for Pinterest marketing, what are the best practices to market on Pinterest? The first thing is to create boards that your audience would love. Right? As a marketer on Pinterest, when you sign up as a business, the first thing you would do is you would create boards because you have to create content. Like we said in the very first session, content forms the base of your social media marketing strategy. Everything starts with content. On Pinterest, you would have to create content that your audience would find engaging and useful. So this example that you see on the screen is from a company called HubSpot. We have brought up HubSpot. We saw HubSpot stories on Instagram last week when we talked about stories, right? So again, everyone's familiar with HubSpot. HubSpot, what does HubSpot do? What does HubSpot do? It's on the screen as well, but what does it do? What does HubSpot do for those of you who are familiar with HubSpot? Yeah, inbound marketing says Sudipto, inbound and sales tool says Alok. Yeah, marketing software says Rahul. So it's also on the screen. You can see it says HubSpot is an all-in-one marketing software, right? So since it's a marketing software, right? Since it's a marketing software, HubSpot, like most of you said, if you look at the boards that they've created, look at their boards here. They have about 40 boards, and the boards are like helpful marketing ebooks, totally useful templates, wonderful marketing webinars, right? Marketing infographics. Do you think these boards are relevant to their target audience? The target audience is basically marketers who will use their platform. Are their boards useful and valuable to their audience? Yes, no. Everyone else? Are their boards useful to their audience? Yeah. So as a marketer, what you would do is whatever boards you create for your Pinterest, you would create boards that would have content that your audience would find valuable. If you can do that, they will follow you, they will engage with you, you can drive awareness, you can drive visibility. Right? So this is an example of a B2B company, by the way. So HubSpot is B2B. It is selling to businesses because it's a marketing software. So when a B2B company is using Pinterest quite effectively, so it's not that Pinterest does not work for B2B. If you're in B2B, you could still use Pinterest to engage with your target audience. Let's look at another example. This is from a company called Wed Me Good. Wed Me Good is an Indian wedding planning website. If you look at their boards here, do you think their boards are relevant to their target audience? Target audience for this site is basically people who are either going to get married and want to plan their own wedding, or people who are attending a wedding and want ideas for what to wear, for example. right? So is this relevant? Is the content, are the boards relevant to their audience? Yes or no? Are the boards relevant? Yeah, they are. Of course they are. Let's look at another example. This is from the travel space. Make My Trip. Make My Trip's audience is a travel audience, people who love to travel. Again, if you look at the boards that they've created here, each board has multiple pins. You can see the number of pins on every board, right? So you can look at these boards here and see that these are all again relevant, something that their audience would find useful. Sipto says Pinterest has only pictures, no articles. That's correct. Pinterest is purely visual, no articles. Though you can share articles in visual form. I'll show you how to do that, Sudipto. I will show you shortly. Right. This is another example. So we've seen travel, we've seen weddings, we've seen B2B. This is Urban Ladder. What does Urban Ladder do? What does Urban Ladder do? Those of you are familiar. They sell furniture, right? Online. So do you think these boards are relevant to their audience? Their audience is anyone who's doing up their house, anyone who's doing up their interiors, buying furniture. Right? Again, the boards are relevant to anyone doing research for interiors. They might probably find Urban Ladder's products also. They might eventually go to Urban Ladder's site and buy the product. Right? So Pinterest is a great way to attract the right audience who are researching or in the market for your product. So the first best practice for Pinterest is to create boards that your audience would love. We've seen a whole bunch of examples from different brands. Next is to use high quality pictures. Pinterest is a very visual platform. Whatever you post needs to be compelling and high quality. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're in e-commerce and you have multiple products, you can use multiple products or multiple types of the same products in one pin. So here, for example, if you have 3 colors of the same bag, you could showcase them in one pin itself. So people can make a choice, come to the website and make a purchase. If you're promoting articles, so coming to Sudipto's point earlier, you can promote articles on Pinterest. All you need to do is create an interesting image of what the article is talking about. Use a text overlay to talk about the article title. So for example, this is an article. It says how to be a possum dog parent. If you click on it, it will take you to the site which has the article. So somebody is using Pinterest to research pets, to research about, let's say, dogs, and how do you, let's say, have a dog as a pet, what can you do for your dog, all of that. Then they would find this article, click, come to your site and buy. Right? So that's how you can promote an article on Pinterest, is by creating great visuals for the article and then pinning them to your boards. Right? The other thing for Pinterest is to optimize your pin description. So whenever you upload a pin, you should optimize your pin descriptions to ensure that when people are searching for you, they find you. Right? This is like SEO, where you optimize your website for search. Here, optimizing your pin for Pinterest search. Right? Whenever people are searching for your products, you want to be found, right? So what you would do is you would include keywords that you want to be found for in your pin descriptions. You would also optimize your boards. So when on the boards that you create in the description, you would include relevant keywords that you want to be found for, right? You could also showcase featured boards. So as a marketer, apart from creating great content the audience would love, producing great visuals, optimizing your pins and descriptions, you could also pick a certain board that you want to feature, and you can feature that board, right? Harshit says, hashtag works here or not? Yes, it does. Hashtags do work on Pinterest as well. Yes, it does. You could also share your boards using Pinterest pin codes, right? So in last week's session, if you remember on Snapchat, I showed you a snap code. Those of you who are part of last week's session, everyone remembers the snap code? Everyone remembers the snap code? So I showed you a snap code where people can scan your snap code and then find you and follow you. So Pinterest has a similar thing called pin codes, where you can take these codes and share them where people can find your boards from these codes itself. So let me give you an example of these and how these work. Let's go back to the platform Pinterest. So Jayachandran, your question, how do you find somebody's boards? Well, just go to that person's profile. So let's say I want to go to Make My Trips profile. I will search for Make My Trip here. Go to makemytrip.com. Right, so this is makemytrip.com's profile, right? I can click here. You saw that, what I did, Jayachandran, are you following? So I search for makemytrip.com. Here I have 31 boards. It says here, I can click here. Then over here I will click on boards. Right, so now I can see all Make My Trips boards. So they have a board for romantic places, board for travel codes, board for food and drink, right? All of this. Got a Jayachandran? How do you visit somebody's boards? Right, so it's good to set up an account on the platform and explore. So I suggest you guys all set up on platform accounts on the platforms that we talked about. Explore them, you'll be more comfortable with them. You'll also learn a lot more. All right, so let's go to my profile and my boards. So let me go to my boards and let me pick one of my boards here. So let me pick my board. Let's say I have this board called Facebook ads. I will pick this board. Let's say that I'm a business and I want to share my board with people. This particular board I want to share. And I want to share it offline, right? So I could click on this get pin code icon here that you guys see I'm hovering on. All of you see it, get pin code. Can you see this? There's this get pin code icon here. Everyone sees it? Yeah. So I'm going to click on that and it will then make a pin code for me. I can change the image if I want. I can customize the image to any of my pins that I have on the board. So if I want to customize it to this one, I can customize it to this one, right? So what is the use of this? Why would a business use these pin codes? Can all of you tell me? Why would you create a pin code for your boards? What is the use of it? What kind of business would use it? Where would they use it? All of you think, what is the use of this pin code? You can download this code, this pin code. What would you do after that? Easy reach, they can directly reach a specific page, attract an audience, yeah. So let's say I'm an offline business. Let's say I'm a boutique. Let's say I'm a business. I have a designer boutique in a city. And I post a lot of great pictures about designer wear from different designers. And I want to get people to engage with me on Pinterest or engage with my Pinterest boards. So anyone walking into my boutique, I can tell them, you know what, we've got a great Pinterest board where you can actually get a lot of interesting ideas on dresses. And if you like some dress, you can even call us up and ask if we have it. You can come and buy, we'll even deliver it to you. So you tell them just, you'd print this pin code on a card, you would then put it in your store. You would tell them you can scan this pin code with your Pinterest app and you'll automatically be able to follow our board and see all the latest designs that we have, right? So it's a great way for offline businesses to get people to engage with their boards on Pinterest, right? Is that clear? Pin codes, everyone clear? What is it? How do you create it? What is the use? Everyone, all of you? I say a quick yes. What are Pinterest pin codes? What is the use of it? How do you create it? Everyone else? Yeah. Okay. Great. So going back to our presentation here. So like I said, you can share your boards offline using Pinterest pin codes to drive engagement on Pinterest with your offline users who visit your offline stores. It could be anything. I just gave you a boutique example. But can you give me another example of a business that could use this, offline business? I gave you a designer boutique as one example. Anyone can give me another example of any other business that could use a Pinterest pin code offline to engage its audiences? Restaurants, very good point, Gagan. Let's say you're a new restaurant and you have a lot of exotic food and like maybe even recipes on Pinterest. You could tell them that you want the recipes for whatever you ate here. Just go to Pinterest and you'll find the recipe, right? Or let's say you want to know about, let's say, health food tips or healthy food that you can eat, nutrition, so many things that you can do. Travels, of course, tour and travel operators, says Priyank. Real estate developers, yes, you can tell them, you can go and look up our, uh, let's say, interior images, the kind of work that we've done on Pinterest. Lots of use cases. You just have to think and come up with ideas on what you can do with it. Apart from all that we've talked about from a marketer's perspective on Pinterest, you can also use Pinterest to run contests, right? We talked about contests on Twitter. We talked about how you can use contests on Instagram, just like that. And we also talked about why contests are a great way to engage audiences, because people love contests. People love taking part in contests where they can win something. So there's a thrill of taking part. There's that chance to win something. So contests have been used by brands to engage with audiences even before the days of social media. With social media, it's become much easier. So you can do contests on Twitter, contests on Instagram. This is an example of a brand doing a contest on Pinterest, right? So this is from the brand Timex. Timex is a watch brand. So Timex asked their Facebook followers to go to Pinterest, pin their favorite Timex watch and accessories from their Pinterest board, and then they would pick a lucky winner and give them a featured Timex and a gift card. So how does the brand benefit here? How does the brand benefit here? How does the brand benefit? Okay, Jatan says lost last 3 minutes because got logged off. Jatan, let me know in the end. I can probably repeat what you lost for you. I might not be able to go back now because that would affect everyone else in the session. So don't worry, I can cover it for you in the end. In the Q&A, just ask me what you missed and I will cover it for you again. Okay. All right. Engagement, followers, and yeah, says Alok, Vishal, and Sadipto. Okay. Future conversion, says Vishal. So it's a great way. Think of it. Think about it. You're a brand. So Timex, you tell your Facebook followers, go to Pinterest, go and pin your favorite watches. For that, they have to go to the Pinterest boards. They have to go through all the watches that Timex has. It's a great way to build brand recall, brand awareness, visibility for the brand, visibility for the brand products. So people might buy at a later point. It's a great way to build recall. And like Vishal says, future conversions. Also traffic to the site. And for the users, they can get a featured Timex, they can get a gift card. So it's a great way to engage audiences. And you can use Pinterest to run these contests as well. And you could come up with different creative ideas for contests. Right? So just to sum up the best practice summary for marketers on Pinterest, first is use compelling, high quality, high resolution pictures. Also, like I said, create boards that your audience would love. That's the first thing. Create boards that your audience would love. Use high quality pictures because Pinterest is a very visual platform. Right? Make your pins actionable, helpful to users. This is something we didn't talk about earlier, but the ideal aspect ratio for a pin is 2:3. So the ideal size is 600 by 900 pixels. Right? That's the ideal size for a pin. So if you're making pins for Pinterest, try and make it in that size. Create boards based on themes. So if you saw all the examples I showed you, we saw Make My Trip, we saw Urban Ladder, we saw Wed Me Good, we saw HubSpot. All the boards were themed, right? Every board had a certain theme and there were pins that were relevant to that board. So whatever boards you create, ensure they are themed, they add value to your audience. Always search optimize your boards and pin descriptions. Ensure that you use relevant keywords in those descriptions so that when people search for you, you get found. So we already discussed all these points. I'm just summing it up here. Pin content that's original and useful. So again, like I said, create content that adds value. This holds good for all social platforms, not just Pinterest. Whichever social platform you are on, your content has to add value. Otherwise, you would not get any results. Right? Be consistent as well. That's important. Apart from what's here on the screen, we also talked about creating Pinterest pin codes for offline businesses to engage with their audiences on Pinterest. That's also something that you can do. Right? Great, guys. So that's about marketing on Pinterest and best practices for marketing. Any questions until now? Any questions until now? No? Everyone's clear? All right. Great. So we'll now move on to understand something called rich pins on Pinterest. Right? Rich pins on Pinterest. So Pinterest has something called rich pins that are basically pins with extra information on the pin itself. Right? So, okay, Pooja says frequency of Pinterest. I'm assuming you're saying frequency of Pinterest pins. Well, the answer to that question lies in the same answer to frequency of posting on any platform. The answer to that is post as frequently as you have great content to showcase. If you can create great pins, original great pins every few hours, you can pin every few hours. If you've got very exciting products, let's say you've just launched a new range of products that's exciting and you've got like 50 pins, you can pin them onto your board altogether. Because Pinterest, unlike other platforms, is not only algorithmic in the feed, it's also largely search based. People do a lot of searching on Pinterest and they would find you, right? In fact, a lot of your traffic comes from research that people do and not only from their feed, right? So unlike other platforms where if you post 50 posts to Facebook in 1 hour, you would flood Facebook, right? Because the only way people can reach you on Facebook or find your content is generally through the feed. And the algorithm will penalize you if you overpost. Pinterest is different. Pinterest, as long as you have a lot of great pins to pin, you can keep pinning them. And people will find you when they research. Just ensure that you search, optimize your pins, you create theme boards, you optimize your board descriptions also. So when people are searching for your product, for whatever you're pinning, they find you. Right? So follow all the best practices. There is no real guideline for frequency. As long as you have great things to pin, you can pin as frequently as you want. But ensure you pin only useful stuff, pin stuff that people will find interesting and engaging and valuable. Okay. All right. So coming back to rich pins, like I said, rich pins are pins that include extra information right on the pin itself. These make your pins more useful because now the pins have more information on them. Now there are different types of rich pins. You have article pins where the pin image will include the headline, the author, the description and the link to the article. You have product pins where the pin will include the real-time price of the product, availability of the product and where the user can buy. You have something called recipe pins where the pin will include ingredients, cooking times and serving info. And you have something called app pins where the pins will include an install button to download the app. Right? So if you're in a business where you create a lot of articles or you want to pin your products or you create a lot of recipes or your mobile app, you can use rich pins to get your images on Pinterest to give extra information to the user. When you give more information, what happens? The pin becomes more useful, more people will click, you'll get more traffic, you'll get more visibility. Right? So just to look at these in more detail, let's look at article pins first. Like you can see with an article pin, apart from just the image, it also gives the headline of the article, the author, which is Forbes in this case, and the description. Then you've got product pins. So product pins, as you can see, it gives you the price of the product that you can see on the top left corner. It will also tell you the availability and you can click on the visit button and go and buy it from the site. So it tells you where to buy as well. Then you've got recipe pins, which apart from giving an image for the recipe, also give you ingredients that you can see on the pin here, cooking times and serving info. So because it gives more information on the pin. It makes the pin more useful, more valuable, and gives you higher engagement as well. Likewise with app pins, if you have a mobile app that you want to drive installs, you could add the install button to get people to download your app, right? So how do you create these rich pins? To create rich pins, first of all, you have to link your website to Pinterest that I showed you earlier. Remember the beginning I told you should link your website to Pinterest. One of the reasons you link your website to Pinterest is that you can enable rich pins on Pinterest once you link your website. How do you enable rich pins? Is you will need a developer for this. You would need help from your developer. If you have a WordPress website, you can use the Yoast SEO WordPress plugin. So basically, you'd have to add some content to your site. So let's go to this link here. Let me give you this link and show you how this works. Right, so you see this? It gives you how you can get rich pins. The entire step-by-step process is here. It says to validate and apply for rich pins. Choose any page on your site, correct problems. It says select one of these three options and then apply. And then Pinterest will validate rich pins on your site. Right, so you might need a developer to help you with this. Unless you have a WordPress website where you can do it yourself. And once you create or once you have these rich pins enabled, you can enter your website URL here and you can check if it's enabled. So this is a blog from HubSpot. So if I click here, it says your rich pins are approved and on Pinterest. Right? So it gives the entire data on how many pins you have, right? What is the article rich pin? So I just did a test on the tool for this HubSpot blog. So if you look at this HubSpot blog here, it's basically an article on the 13 best SEO tools for auditing and monitoring website performance. So this article has rich pins enabled. So if you view this article on Pinterest, you'd be able to see the author, the story description as well. Right, so that's the link. You would need, you can take your help or take help from a website developer to help you implement it for your website. But as a marketer, you should be aware that there's something called rich pins, and these are different types, how they are useful and how you can use it. Right? Great guys. Any questions on rich pins so far? Any questions on rich pins? Like I said, as a marketer, you should know what they are, what are the different types, how do they benefit you, how you can implement it. Any questions on rich pins in particular? Yes, no, everyone's clear. If everyone's clear, can we move on to analytics on Pinterest? Yes, everyone else, yeah. Can we move on to analytics on Pinterest? All of you, everyone else? Sripta says, if I use Google Tag Manager instead of Yoast SEO, for Pinterest to enable rich pins, you would still have to use a plugin. With Tag Manager, I don't think Tag Manager has an integration for Pinterest rich pins. Though you can use the custom HTML code. It should work. So what I suggest if you're using Google Tag Manager, just use the custom HTML section of it where you implement your tags and put in the Pinterest tag. It should work there as well. Test it out. It should work there as well. Though I have not done it through Tag Manager, but I'm pretty sure it should work there. You can test it out. So when you create tags in Tag Manager, use the custom HTML, which is where you add your Facebook pixels and other pixels as well, and you'd find it. Okay. All right. Great, guys. So as a marketer, when you're putting in all the effort to engage with your audience on Pinterest, and by the way, Pinterest in India is a comparatively smaller audience, right? Pinterest in India is a comparatively smaller audience. It's one of the smaller platforms. Like we said, in India, Facebook is the biggest. Then you have Instagram, right? Then you have LinkedIn. Then you have Twitter. Then you have Snapchat and Pinterest. Right? So Pinterest and Snapchat are comparatively much smaller as compared to other platforms, which is why we are spending comparatively lesser time on these platforms as compared to the amount of time we spent on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Right? It's a very niche audience. If you have a target audience that's on Pinterest, or if you're in any one of the sectors that we talked about earlier, Pinterest would be a great tool to use. Also, one more thing about the Pinterest audience that we didn't mention earlier is that Pinterest is the only platform with a gender bias, right? There are many more women than men on Pinterest. Pinterest is the only social platform which has a lot more women than men. So if you have a business where your audience is largely women, then Pinterest would be a great platform for you. So Pinterest globally is approximately about 65 to 70% women, right? That's Pinterest global numbers, right? They've not released India specific numbers by gender, but that's a similar trend in India as well. All right, great. Sudipto, you don't have to trigger any page. So when your triggers, you trigger on all pages because the rich pins need to be, the code needs to be on all pages. It will automatically pick up the articles. Right? So you don't have to trigger a page, right, Sudipto? Put it on all, trigger it on all pages. Okay. All right. Okay, that was just for Sudipto because he asked a question on Google Tag Manager. Those of you who are not familiar with it, don't worry about it. That was just for Sudipto. All right. Great, guys. So now that you've, as a marketer, put a lot of effort into marketing on Pinterest, creating boards, engaging your audience, pinning content that your audience would find useful, you obviously want to know what is the impact, right? Is it getting you any benefit? Are you getting anything out of it? What impact is Pinterest generating for you? And that's where you get Pinterest Analytics to help you, right? So Pinterest Analytics is available for business accounts only. If you want analytics, you have to set up a business account. So let's go to Pinterest and I will show it to you live instead of showing you on a presentation. Let me show you this live on the tool instead of showing you screenshots. So let's go live to the Pinterest tool and let's go to analytics. So on Pinterest, on the top left corner, you see this analytics here. So I'm going to click on analytics and click on overview. It would then take me to my Pinterest analytics. If you want to access it directly, you can just go to analytics.pinterest.com after you log in. So here, I can look at my Pinterest profile. I can see for all the effort that I'm putting in on Pinterest, what is the result that I'm getting, right? What is my average daily impressions? So on average, I'm engaging about 40 people every day. In a month, I engage about 1,500 people, right? Average is about 54 per day here. When I scroll below, I can see my top pins in the last 30 days. So which pins have got me the most impressions in the last 30 days? So I can see this pin, it says 7 things to know before you run an app. That's an article basically. So it's a rich pin. You can see it says type, these are rich pins here. So let's click on this pin. Let's see what type of rich pin it is. Right, so it says 7 things to know before you run an app install ad campaign. Right, so what type of pin is this? What type of rich pin is this? We talked about 4 types of rich pins. What type of rich pin is this? Come on guys, everyone, what type of rich pin is this? We talked about 4 types. What type is this? Information, yeah. So we called it an, right? We called it an article pin. So this is an example of an article pin. You can see here, it gives the author name, it gives the description of the article, and it says 7 things you need to know before you run an app install ad campaign, right? So I found this article on HubSpot. I found this image interesting, and I pinned it, and this has got 78 impressions for me in the last 30 days. And so likewise, if I look at this one, it says campaign tracking without going crazy. This is also a rich pin. So if I click here, this is a rich pin. It's an article pin again. So you see this? It gives the author, which is moz.com. It gives the pin description here, right? So the entire description is here, right? So these are all rich pins, and this has got impressions for me as well in the last 30 days. So this is, I can look at which are my top pins, what pins are working for me, which content is working, which content is not working. I can also click on my Pinterest profile here and view each of these sections in detail. So if I click on the first section here, I can click on any date range and I can see how many impressions I'm getting, right? So if I look at, let's say, from 1st Jan to 31st Jan 2019, how many impressions have I got? I look on a daily basis. So there was a spike here. I got 80 impressions on 29 Jan. 64 people viewed my pins on 29 Jan. Right. So that's, I can look at if anyone saved, anyone clicked, how many clicks did my pins get. Right. So if there were any clicks, it will show me here. Likewise, I can also see how many people I'm reaching. So what is the reach of my Pinterest account? So again, if I want to look at, let's say, for the month of January, from 1st Jan to 31st Jan. So in January, I had 1,322 people who viewed my pins, right? So you can look at this number across the whole month of January, right? Jayachandran, you're constantly getting unmuted for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just muting you again. Okay. I can also look at where my engagement is coming from. So I can see which countries am I getting my engagement from. So it says US, it says India, Germany. Which cities am I getting my engagement from? And I can look at which language do people speak who are consuming my content. What is the gender? So again, here there are many more women than men here. Like I said, Pinterest is a platform with a gender bias towards women. The only social platform with more women than men. Right? So that's demographics. I can also look at the interests of my audience. The audience who is engaging with me, what are their interests? Right? So it tells me what my audience is into. Right? So Pinterest Analytics, again, though it's not as comprehensive as, let's say, Facebook or LinkedIn, it gives you enough data to figure out how your Pinterest marketing is performing, how many impressions are you getting, who are the people you are reaching, how many are you reaching, right? You can also look at your website here. I have not linked my website. If I had linked my website, I can see what people are saving from my site, right? So if people go to my site and save a pin from there, I would get that data here. Right? So that's another reason to link your website to Pinterest. Two reasons you would link your website to Pinterest. One is to enable rich pins, and second is to get analytics of what people are pinning from your website to Pinterest. Right? So that's how you check the efficiency of your Pinterest marketing using Pinterest Analytics. You can also use Google Analytics for those of you who have done the Web Analytics module. You can use Google Analytics to check your referral traffic from Pinterest. Right? You can check your referral traffic from Pinterest. How many people are coming to your website from Pinterest? That you can check in Google Analytics. Those of you who have done the Analytics module will know how to check it. Those of you who have not done the Analytics module, you will learn how to do this in the Analytics module. Right? All right. Great, guys. So, any specific questions on Pinterest Analytics? We've looked at Pinterest Analytics in detail, what you can get from there, what kind of data is available. Any questions on Pinterest analytics, guys? All of you? Any questions on Pinterest analytics? No? Assuming everyone's clear. So just to summarize what we learned in Pinterest, right? We looked at what Pinterest is, how does it work, talked about the audience in the platform. We've also looked at the visual search functionality, which makes it so powerful, what users do there. We've seen how to use it for business. We talked about creating a business account. So how to market effectively, what are the best practices for Pinterest marketing. Also looked at rich pins and how we can leverage them. And we've seen analytics and measurement on Pinterest. Right, so any questions on Pinterest overall? Across all that we've covered on Pinterest? Sipto says, I've asked people to follow my board. Okay, yeah, you can do that. You can get people to follow your board on Pinterest, something that you've created. All right. Any questions on Pinterest, guys? All of you? Any questions on Pinterest? Yes, no? Everyone's clear with Pinterest? If everyone's clear, can we move on to social media marketing tools, which is the second part of today's session? Yeah. Okay. Pooja says, when I click on a pin, it's an impression? No, Pooja. When you view a pin, it's an impression. In the very first session, all of you remember, okay, quick recap. Very first session in Facebook, we talked about basic social media marketing terms. We talked about impressions, talked about reach. Very first session. So what does an impression mean? All of you, quick question. When you say impression, what does it mean? Quick recap. We discussed this in the very first session. I told you it's a fundamental term, not just for Facebook, not just for social media, but entire digital marketing, right? Impression is the number of times your post has been shown to the user. Perfect, Alok. Alok's got the perfect definition. Awesome, Alok. That's perfect. Sudipto also, number of times your posts appear, excellent. Number of times Jayachandran. So Jayachandran, Sudipto and Alok have got the perfect answer. Impressions are the number of times your post is shown to a user. Then whether a user clicks on it, when the user clicks, it becomes a click or an engagement, right? When a user clicks, it becomes a click or an engagement, right? Otherwise, it's only impressions, only like your post has been shown. Clear, Pooja? And everyone else? Yeah, always, guys, quick recap. Always remember the fundamentals, because fundamentals is where you can build on, right? So always remember, just refreshing. Impressions are the number of times your ad or post has been shown. Reach is the number of people your ad has been shown to. So that's just a recap from session 1. If you guys want more clarity, or if you've just forgotten a part of it, watch session 1's recording again. Right? But just to recap, like I said, impression is the number of times your ad has been shown or post has been shown to a user. Right? Click is when they actually click on it or engage with. Okay. Is everyone here clear with these terms? Impressions, reach, engagement. Yeah, all of you. I say a quick yes, because like I said, fundamentals are important. You always build on foundations. Foundation needs to be strong. And in fact, one of the key things I focus on is to ensure you guys have a strong foundation. Okay. All right. Great, guys. Also, thanks for asking that question, Pooja. It helps rebuild the foundation. So thanks, Pooja, for bringing that up. If you have any questions, please do ask, guys. In fact, when you ask questions, it helps everyone else. In fact, because Pooja asked, it helped recap the fundamental for everyone else. So thanks, Pooja, for asking. Jachan says in Twitter, Pinterest, to whom a message gets delivered and for whom we get message. To whom a message gets, which message are you talking about, Jayachandran? Are you talking about a post? Because message means something else. Are you talking about a post? So when you post something to Twitter, when you tweet or when you pin something to Pinterest, yeah, it goes in the feed, right? It goes in the feed. And we talked about the algorithm on Twitter, right? So Twitter has an algorithm which shows the top tweets first, which users can opt out of, and they get tweets in chronological order, which is newer tweets come on top, older tweets go to the bottom. On Pinterest, again, it can show in the feed or it will show to people searching for them. So on Pinterest, it is either the feed, which you saw, which I showed you in the beginning, When you log into Pinterest, you see a feed with all posts relevant to you, or it will show when people are doing their research on Pinterest. Right? So that's how you reach people. People are searching for you, or it shows to people to whom your pins are relevant. Likewise with Twitter as well. Okay. Alright guys, any other questions on Pinterest? So any other questions on Pinterest? Pooja and Jayachandran had a couple of questions. Anyone else? If there are no questions, can we move on to the tools section? Yes, everyone? All of you, can I say a quick yes? Okay, Jayachandran, can we keep that question for the Q&A? Don't worry, I'll take it in the Q&A if that's fine. Just copy that question and paste it back to me in the Q&A, please. All right. Great. So we look at social media marketing tools that will help you as a social media marketer become much more effective, be more efficient, make your life easy. We'll look at Buffer first. We'll then look at a tool called Hootsuite. We'll look at TweetDeck. And then we look at some paid social media analytics tools like Sprout Social and Simplified 360. Right, so we look at these one by one. We'll begin with the tool called Buffer. How many of you have used Buffer before this? Can I see a quick yes? How many of you have used Buffer? No, no one has used Buffer. Vishal says no, but I know what it is for. All right. All right. So Buffer is a social media scheduling tool, right? Buffer is a social media scheduling tool. So before we even go to Buffer, what is a scheduling tool? All of you? Quick question. What is a scheduling tool? What is a scheduling tool? Yeah, to schedule a post is Alok at a specific time and day of the week. Yeah, schedule some posts we post on certain times, says Priyank. Yeah. So basically these are tools that help you schedule your posts for a certain time of the day. So let's say for example, I want to post something tomorrow at 2 p.m. I can just go to Buffer, set date, set time, and then it'll take my post live at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Right? So now that you know that, okay, this is what a scheduling tool does, it helps you post something to any platform at a certain given date and time automatically. Is it free to use? Yes, it is. I will show you. So why do you need a scheduling tool? Right? Why do you need a scheduling tool? What is the use? Why do you need to schedule to social media? What is the use? Yeah, you can't be at your desk at all times, right? Like Pooja says. You can't be at your desk at all times to post. To reach maximum traffic, says Vishal. Different time zones, says Sarthak. Yes, good point. Right? Yes, you can, Harshit. I will show you. Priyank says you might miss an important date and time. Right? So like all of you said, there are holidays, right? When you have holidays, you need to post. So Pooja, excellent. So there are a bunch of reasons, right? Let's say that you want to do a Diwali post for your brand. Every brand does a Diwali post, right? For example. And you have to post the Diwali post on Diwali only. You can't post Diwali post 2 days before Diwali. So are you going to, on Diwali, everyone is busy, no? Everyone has a holiday, everyone's busy with celebrations. Are you going to leave your celebrations, go to your laptop, open up your Facebook and Twitter and all these platforms and post? Do you think that's convenient for a social media marketer? We all have a life, right? We all have things to do. We can't leave things and open our laptop and post. So that's where these scheduling tools help you. You can just schedule your post for that day and the tool will take it live at that date and time and you can go and enjoy your Diwali celebrations, right? You can, but these tools help you do it for multiple platforms. There's a difference, Alok. I'll show you. Hang on. I will show you. There's a difference, right? There's a difference. Hang on, I'll come to that. Apart from that, let's say that you're working with a client who's in the United States, and the best time to post for them is at 2 o'clock in the morning, India time, because that's a good time in the US. Will you set an alarm for 1:45, get up, post, and go back to sleep? Obviously not, right? Sounds ridiculous. You've got better things to do in life. You obviously want to sleep properly. You will just use a scheduling tool to schedule at 2 in the morning India time, and the post will go live and you can sleep peacefully, right? So that's why social media marketers need these scheduling tools, right? So we look at Buffer first, which is a social media scheduling tool. Is everyone clear with what a scheduling tool is and why it helps? Everyone? What is a scheduling tool and what is the need? Why does it help? Okay, great. So let's go to Buffer. So all these tools, I will show you live on the platform. It'll be better for you, easier for you guys rather than me showing you it on a presentation. Let me take you live. So for every platform, every tool, I will take you to the tool live and show it to you, right? So it'll be easier for you to follow also, right? So when you go to Buffer, so you can just go to this site called buffer.com. That's the URL. So you can go to buffer.com and you can click on get started for free. You can click on get started for free. So those of you asking if it is free, yes, you can get started for free. You can sign up here. Just go to buffer.com, sign up, create an account. After you create an account, you will come to a screen like this where you can connect your social accounts. So first sign up for Buffer. You can come here. You can connect multiple accounts here. So Harshit, this will answer your question. You can connect multiple accounts. You can connect your Facebook page, your LinkedIn profile. You can connect your Twitter account. In the free version, you can connect up to 3 accounts. Right? Up to 3 accounts you can connect in the free version. So in my case here, I've connected my Facebook page. So this is my Facebook page here. Right? I have connected my Twitter account here. Right? So I've connected my Facebook page. I've connected my Twitter account. And I've also connected my LinkedIn profile. Right? So I've connected 3: Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Right? Now, let's say I want to schedule a post. How do you do it on this platform? After you've connected your accounts. So like I said, sign up for Buffer, connect your accounts. Scheduling is very simple. You would just click here. It will ask you what you want to share. So I can choose multiple platforms together: Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So I've chosen all 3 platforms. Right? So let's say I'm doing a post at, say, test post, and I can add an image, I can add a video here. I can upload images, upload videos, whatever I want to do. Then I can customize for each network. So I can post to all 3 networks together. But like I said, every network is different. Every platform is different. I can click on customize for each network. It will open Twitter. I can customize for Twitter. I can add specific Twitter related hashtags, hashtag SMM, hashtag social media marketing. So it also suggests hashtags for you. Then I can customize for Facebook. I can customize for LinkedIn, right? So I can customize for each platforms from one single dashboard without having to log in separately to either Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. Then I can click here, say schedule posts. I can choose my date and time. So let's say I want to schedule for Monday morning at 9 o'clock. So Monday morning, 9 a.m. and I will say schedule. The moment I say schedule, it says all posts have been scheduled. Now I can go to my Facebook page and I can see it will say, hang on, Let me just refresh this page. Right, so you see here it says Facebook page test. It's scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Twitter, again it says test tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. LinkedIn, scheduled tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Right, so it's that simple to schedule a post to multiple platforms from one single dashboard at the same time. Priyank says how to change time zone. Well, you can change it in your settings, Priyank. Just go to your settings, and in your settings or in your account, you'll have time. So you have time and date settings here, Priyank. Go to account, time and date settings, and you can change it there. Right? Okay. Okay. All right, great guys. So that's how you schedule a post using Buffer to multiple platforms from one dashboard. You can also customize for each platform. Is everyone clear until now? How do you use Buffer to schedule a post? Everyone, can I say a quick yes? All of you? Go to buffer.com, sign up, connect your accounts. You can connect up to 3 profiles in one single account with a free version. And then you can click on schedule, choose as many platforms as you want. Then you can post, select a date and time, customize for each platform. Gagan says, can we use different time zones for different platforms? No. You can only use one time zone for the account. But you can, let's say you have one client in the US and you have one client in India. You can convert the time, let's say your time zone is India. You can make it as 2 in the morning India time, which is the corresponding US time. So you just change your time accordingly. In the free version, you can't. In the paid version, you can do all of it. In the paid version, you can still customize it. But in the free version, you'll have to adapt your time to a specific zone. Okay. All right. So this is how you can use Buffer to schedule. But what makes Buffer even more powerful is the browser extension for Buffer. Right? So if you just Google for Buffer extension for Chrome, you will find this Chrome extension, which you can add to your browser, which will make Buffer even more powerful for you. Right? So that's the link. Those of you using Chrome can add that extension. Once you add that extension to your browser, whenever you go to any social platform, let's say I go to Twitter, right? Let's say I go to Twitter and I scroll below and I find a post that I want to share. Let's say this post here, right? So if you look at my icons here, apart from the usual like, retweet and reply, I also have this add to buffer icon, right? And if I want to retweet this post, when I click on retweet, it gives me another option that I get here because I have the extension added. Whenever you add the buffer extension to your browser, you will get this extra button called buffer retweet. Without the buffer extension, you will not get this button. You'll only get the retweet button. Now I get a buffer retweet button, right? So I can say buffer retweet. Let's say I'm browsing through my feed. Let's say I have 10 minutes today and I'm browsing through my Twitter feed and I find 10 interesting articles that I want to retweet. Okay, I'm finding 10 interesting articles that is valuable to my target audience that I want to retweet. Which is a better approach? Approach number 1 is to retweet all at the same time. So I can keep retweeting. Within 10 minutes, I can do 10 retweets. Or option 2 is I can stagger it. Right? I can schedule it, let's say, every 2-3 hours. Which is a better option? 1 or 2? Which is a better option? Which is more effective? Retweeting all together. Within 10 minutes, I find 10 interesting articles, retweet it all. Or I can schedule like 2-3 hours apart. Obviously, the second one is better because the first one it'll spam your audience, right? They'll see you'll be putting 10 tweets out within 10 minutes. Might be a little too much. You'd rather stagger it out every few hours to get the maximum reach. So every time I find something interesting, I could just say buffer retweet. It will automatically open up a buffer pop-up here where I can customize the retweet. So I can add a comment. I can say, for example, great post, or let's say great tool, whatever I want to add here. I can add relevant hashtags, and then I can choose if I want to retweet it or share it just to Twitter. If I want to share the tweet to other platforms, I can do that. I would then say schedule post, and then I would schedule it, let's say today at 4 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. I would say schedule. It says the post has been scheduled. Now, if I go to buffer and if I look at my queue on Twitter, you see here today at 4:30 p.m. So it says today 4:30 p.m. this retweet is scheduled. Right, not just that, you will also get the same buffer share icon even on Facebook. So let's say you're browsing through Facebook, you find an interesting post you want to share or interesting article. You see here, you will have a buffer icon here, which currently is not showing for some reason, but it will show up on your Facebook as well. Right? So for some reason, there's an error, it's not showing up right now, but it will show up for both Twitter and Facebook. So you can just share from any social platform, directly you can schedule. Right? Not just that, what makes your life even easier is, let's say you're reading an article on the internet. Let's say I found this article, I think it's very interesting. I think my audience would find it very valuable. I can just click on this buffer extension here. So all if you see that I'm hovering, it says share with buffer. All if you see that on the top right corner, I'm hovering on that buffer extension. Can I say a quick yes? All of you see it? Everyone on the top right corner, it says share with buffer. The moment I click on that, it will automatically pick up the article title. You see this? It automatically picked up the title of the article. It shortened the URL for me, right? And I can customize, so I can say hashtag SEO. I can say hashtag SEO tools. It also gives me suggestions. I can say hashtag digital marketing. Right? So I can add my hashtags. I can choose multiple platforms. If I want to share it to all three, I can do Facebook, LinkedIn. I can customize for each. I can customize separately for Facebook. I can see how the preview would look. I can write whatever I want to say on Facebook. So I can say great article for SEO audits, right? I can customize for LinkedIn as well. So on LinkedIn, again, I can see my LinkedIn preview and I can customize it here, right? And then I can even add images, by the way, for Twitter. It automatically picks up the images from the blog. So here I can add as many images as I want from the blog. It's all the images get pulled up. I can add that. And then I can just say schedule post, right? And it will go live. Sripto says, can I add my Facebook business page? Yes, of course you can. What I've added here is my Facebook business page only. This is my Facebook page that I've added. You can add Facebook pages, you can add LinkedIn pages, all that can be done. Right, Sripto? Of course you can. This is the Facebook page that I've added here. This one. Does that clarify, Sripto? Yeah, okay. Now, when I'm sharing this article or anything else on Buffer, there's one more feature that makes Buffer all the more powerful. And that's this add to queue feature. Right? Add to queue feature. What is this add to queue feature? Now for most social platforms, we probably know what is the best time to post, right? Let's say for Facebook, you know, okay, this is the time I should be posting. For Twitter, again, I know what is the best time to post. How do you find what's the best time to post on Twitter? We talked about a tool in the Twitter session. Quick quiz, quick knowledge check. Who remembers the tool for finding the best time to tweet on Twitter? Twitter Insights doesn't give it to you. We talked about a tool that helps you there. Who remembers the tool's name? How do you check what's the best time to tweet on Twitter? what time your followers are online. How do you check? Who remembers the tools? Quick check, all of you. Yeah, perfect, Vishal, awesome. The tool is Tweeted, as Vishal just said, Vishal Nalok. So I showed you the tool called Tweeted. I said you can find the best time to tweet. So let's say I already know what is the best time to tweet. So I don't need to enter a date and time every time, right? I can just go to my settings here. I can say posting schedule. I can then add a schedule for my Facebook page. So this is my Facebook page. I've set a schedule for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:55 in the morning. Then this is my Twitter profile. So for Twitter, I've set a schedule saying Monday to Friday, 11:57 a.m. and 3:04 p.m. So I can add as many schedules as I want. If I want to add a schedule to, let's say, Friday at 3:04 p.m. So you see now Friday I don't have a schedule here. I can say add posting time. Now in Friday I'm posting here. Right, so I can set a schedule like this for each of my social platforms, which is preset. Now I can just go here and say add to queue. Buffer will then check in my schedule which is the next available time slot, and it will schedule my post then. So let's go to my Twitter queue. Let's go to my Twitter queue and let's look at my current posting schedule. So I have 4 scheduled posts here. So I have for today at 4:30 p.m. which I scheduled manually now, tomorrow at 9 in the morning, tomorrow at 11:57, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Right? So this is my current queue. If you look at my posting schedule, tomorrow at 3:04 p.m. is already taken. Tomorrow 11:57 a.m. is already taken. Let's go to settings, posting schedule again. So tomorrow, which is Monday at 3:04 p.m. is already taken. Now if I say add to queue in this post here, what is the next available time slot? What is the next available or open time slot? What is the next available time slot? Yeah. After 3:04 p.m., what is the next available time slot? Everyone. No, why 4 to 5? I've set Monday 11:57 a.m., Monday 3 p.m. The next slot is what? What is the next? Yeah, Tuesday 11 a.m., right? I'm saying post twice a day. Monday 11:57 a.m. is already taken. Monday 3:04 p.m. is already taken. So next I can say Tuesday 11:57 p.m. is the available time slot, right? Next available time slot. So now, by the way, this is not 3 to 4. It is 3:04 p.m. It's 3:04, not 3:24. It's an exact time saying 3 o'clock and 4 minutes. So, right? So 4 minutes past 3, 57 minutes past 11. I think some of you got confused saying 3 to 4 p.m. That's why you said 4 to 5. It is 3:04. That's the exact time it will go live. Right? So the next time available is 11:57 a.m. on Tuesday. So if I say add to queue now, I'm just going to click on add to queue. I didn't select date and time, nothing. It says it's been added to queue. So now if I go to my queue and check, you see here, it says Tuesday, 11:57 a.m. Right? So you can set a preset posting schedule. Buffer will automatically go, check what's the next available time slot, and it will add it for you. So you don't even need to put your date and time every time. It makes your life even easier. Set a schedule, keep saying add to queue, add to queue. It will keep finding the next available slot and it will add it to the queue. Right? So is that clear? How do you set a preset posting schedule in your settings? And then you can just use the add to queue feature to add or schedule posts to the next available time slot. Everyone clear? All of you? Can I see a quick yes? Everyone's clear with that? Right? Great guys. So with that we've looked at buffer. Okay, so it says how can I know is it for Facebook or Twitter? It's here, no? settings, posting schedule. Click on the left. You see the left bar? I've clicked on Twitter now. It says posting schedule, Twitter profile. Then if I click Facebook page, it says posting schedule, Facebook page. Got it, Sudipta? How do you check where the schedule is for? LinkedIn, it says posting schedule, LinkedIn profile. Right? Got it? Okay. All right. So with that, we've looked at buffer in detail. Right. Buffer for Instagram, you can do that as well here. You can connect your Instagram account. I just connected 3 accounts to show you now. You can connect your Instagram account and you can use it for Instagram as well. Right? Just connect your Instagram account. Got it? It's free, but you connect only 3 accounts. Only 3 for free. Pinterest is paid. If you want to use Pinterest, it's available on the trial only. Right? Okay. Alright, so we've covered buffer in detail. We've seen how it works, how it makes your life easier, how do you use it for scheduling, right? Everyone clear with all of this? How do you use buffer for scheduling? How do you add the extension? How do you use the extension to schedule directly from social platforms? How do you use the extension to share an article? How do you add a preset posting schedule and add the add to queue feature? Everyone clear? So buffer is a very powerful tool and we've looked at it in detail. We'll move on to the next tool, which is Hootsuite, but before that we'll take a break, right? So before we move on to the next tool, let's take a break. So we'll take a 15-minute break from now. So look at the time in your watch, 15 minutes from now. We'll then come back and look at Hootsuite. Hootsuite is an even more powerful tool, much more powerful than buffer also. There's a lot that you can do with Hootsuite, right? It's like gold for social media marketers. So we'll look at Hootsuite in detail after we take a break, right? Great, guys. So get a break and I'll see you guys in 15 minutes from now. Thank you. All right, guys, everyone back? Can I say a quick yes if all of you are back? Everyone else, if you're back, can we get started? Everyone else. Rest of you guys back from the break? All right, guys, everyone else, can I say a quick yes? Alok, Harshit, you guys are all back. Karthik, Pooja, Sudipto, Vishal, everyone's back. All right, I'm assuming people are still coming back, but we'll start anyway because for the benefit of everyone who's here, let's start. So, Hootsuite, like I said, is a very, very powerful social media marketing tool. How many of you used Hootsuite before? Anyone here who's used Hootsuite before? Anyone here who's used Hootsuite before? No? No one has? Rest of you? No? Alright. Great. So Hootsuite is a must-have tool for most social media marketers. Let's look at it live on the platform. Right. So when you go to hootsuite.com, that's the URL by the way. So you can just go to hootsuite.com. You can click on the plans here and you'll see there's a free plan, like it says, for individuals with one user, 3 social profiles. So you can click on that. It's a free plan. Once you click on that, it'll ask you, it'll say get started free. So that's the create free account URL. You can then give your name, email and password, or you can even sign up with a social profile. You can sign up with either Twitter or Facebook also. Right. So once you do this, you'll have a free account created. After you create your free account, you will come to a blank screen that looks like this, right? You can connect your individual profiles just like you did on Buffer. So you can connect your Facebook page, connect Twitter, connect Instagram. You can connect whatever profiles, up to 3 profiles that you want, because you can connect up to 3 in the free version. Once you connect your profiles, you can then come here and you can use the tool for scheduling just like you use Buffer. So here on the top, you can click on this compose message. You can type whatever you want. So I'm just going to say SMM test, right? And I can choose my platforms on the left. So I've connected my Twitter, my Facebook, and my Instagram, right? So I've connected 3 profiles here. So let's say I want to post to Facebook and Twitter for now. I can choose these 2. I can attach images, videos that I want, just like Buffer. I can choose my scheduling time. So I would say tomorrow morning, so Monday morning at 9 a.m. And I would say schedule. The moment I say schedule, it says your 2 messages have been scheduled. So scheduling is as simple as Buffer. Same thing. Type your message, choose your platforms, and then say schedule. Now I want to edit my schedule post just like I did on Buffer. So for that, I would just say browse all streams here. This third column that you see under set up your first streams, the third column. So I would say browse all streams. Then for Twitter, I would select Twitter here and I would say schedule. Then I would select my Facebook page and I would say schedule. Right. So now I can see my posts that have been scheduled for Facebook and Twitter. If I want to edit and customize for Twitter, I can just say edit. Right, then I can customize it here. So I can add Twitter related hashtags. Right, I can do that. It also gives me a preview of how the tweet will look on the right. I can change my time as well if I want to edit the time for Twitter. Let's say only for Twitter I want to post at 11 in the morning. I can do that. And then I would say save edits. Now you can see Twitter is now tomorrow at 11 a.m. Facebook is tomorrow at 9. Twitter is customized. So just like Buffer, you can schedule to multiple platforms from one dashboard, and you can also customize your content for each platform. Everyone clear until now? How do you use Hootsuite for scheduling? Yeah, everyone? Can I say a quick yes? How do you use it for scheduling? Pretty simple, pretty similar to Buffer, right? Now, just like Buffer, where you had an extension, even for Hootsuite, you have a Chrome extension. So you just say it's called the Hootsuite Hootlet. You can say Hootsuite extension for Chrome. Right? So you have this Hootsuite Hootlet Chrome extension. Those of you using Chrome, you can just add this extension to your browser. Once you add this extension to your browser, it does the same thing that the Buffer extension does. So if you see an article that you want to share, you can directly share from there. You'll get a Hootlet icon on Twitter, you get a Hootlet icon on your social platforms. So all the things that you saw the Buffer extension can do, this Hootsuite extension can also do, right? So on Hootsuite, you can use it for scheduling, like we just saw. You can use it to customize posts for each platform, post to different times for different platforms. You can also use it to add the Hootlet extension and make your life even easier, right? So what you see now is the same functionality that Buffer can also do. But Hootsuite can do a lot more than that, right? Hootsuite can do not just scheduling, but a lot more other things, which make it a very, very powerful platform. So the first thing that you can use Hootsuite for is scheduling. You can also use it to manage your complete social media from one dashboard, right? Like I said, I'll just repeat. You can use it to manage your entire social media from one single dashboard. Let me give you an example, right? So on Hootsuite, you can create something called tabs. Just like in a browser, you can go on creating new tabs like this. So I have so many tabs open in my browser, right? Just like that, I can create tabs within Hootsuite. So here if you see, it says new tab. I'm going to rename this tab and I'm going to call it scheduled posts. Right, so I rename this tab to scheduled posts. I'm now going to click on this plus button here and I'm going to say add tab, right? So I'm going to click on this plus button here, say add tab. It will open a new tab for me. I'm going to name this tab as Twitter. Now in this tab, I will click browse all streams. I will select my Twitter from this drop down. I would add one stream for my home feed, one stream for my mentions, one stream for my retweets, right? One stream for my followers, one stream for my own tweets, right? One stream for my scheduled tweets also if I want, right? So now I can basically get one single view of all my Twitter activity, right? From this dashboard, like you can see here, I can get one single view of all my Twitter activity. I can not just that, I can even interact from here. So let's say I like this tweet, or let's say this social media today tweet. I like it, I can like it from here. I can even retweet it from here. I can reply from here, right? Someone's mentioned me, I can interact. I can see all. So basically I can manage my entire Twitter from one single dashboard without having to log into Twitter separately. Right? Not just that, now I can do this for all platforms. I'll create a new tab. I will call it, sorry, I just hit the back button by mistake. Let me just log in again. Give me 1 minute. Great. Sorry, I hit the back button by mistake. It got logged out. All right, so I'm going to say new tab, and I'm going to say Facebook. Right. So now on Facebook, I would say browse all streams. I would click on Facebook page here, and then I would create a new tab for my timeline, new tab for my posts, new tab for my messages, right? I can also create a new tab for my, let's say, scheduled posts, right? So now I can manage my entire Facebook from here. I can like from here. I can comment from here. I can share from here. All can be done from within one dashboard, right? Likewise, I can add a new tab. I can call it Instagram, and I can do the same thing for my Instagram. I can add a new tab. I can call it LinkedIn. Right. So this is what makes Hootsuite extremely powerful. You can manage your entire social media activity from one single platform. Right. Is that clear? Everyone with me as of now? All of you clear how you can add multiple tabs and manage your entire social media activity from one platform? Right. This is what makes Hootsuite a very powerful tool. Not just this, so you can schedule posts, you can do everything that Buffer can do. You can also manage your entire social media from one platform, monitor from one platform, one dashboard. You can also do something called social listening, where you can listen and monitor for what conversations are happening around your brand. Right? So I'd say browse all streams. I would just say search. And if I want to look for brand mentions of Digital Vidya, I would just search for Digital Vidya here. Sorry, I used a. Hold on, I'm just going to redo that. I made a mistake while typing. So I'm going to say search. I'm going to say Digital Vidya. And I'm going to say search. So now I can see all posts which mention Digital Vidya. Right, you can see here 2 days ago, there was this tweet that said Digital Vidya CEO offers 5 marketing and get 5 ways marketing can close alignment with sales. Right. So you can look at all mentions of a specific brand. Right. Not just that, you can also monitor, let's say, specific hashtags. So if you want to monitor hashtag social media marketing to see what are the latest tweets that are coming in around social media marketing, you could say search. So it will now show me all the tweets around the hashtag social media marketing. Right? I can add multiple hashtags here. I can also add phrases that I want to monitor for. So let's say I want to look for mentions of the brand Vodafone with the word bad, right? Right. So you see here, it will show me all the tweets that have the word Vodafone. So you can see somebody said, I'm struggling with Vodafone repair mobile device system. It's really bad, right? So it will give you all this that people have tweeted with the word Vodafone and with the word bad. Right? You see this? It says somebody complaining about bad service for Vodafone here. Right? So you could do a bunch of phrases. You could see what people are talking about, and you could create streams for each one of them. So Sipta says, why inverted comma? Why not hashtags while searching with you? Okay, because I want to search for the exact. I want to look for the words digital vidya together. I'll tell you why not hashtag. Let's look at this tweet. Okay, look at this tweet here. Does this tweet have the hashtag digital vidya? Does this tweet have the hashtag digital vidya? If I search for hashtag digital vidya, I would not have found this tweet. I can do both. I can monitor hashtag also. I can monitor this also. I want to search for mentions of the brand name, where somebody's mentioned my brand without tagging me or without using the hashtag. In this case, they have not tagged digital vidya. They've also not used the hashtag. So how would I monitor? By looking for the brand name, right? That's the difference between. So I can also search for hashtag. So I can say search hashtag digital vidya, and I can see all the people who are using hashtag Digital Vidya or all the tweets with the hashtag Digital Vidya. Right, you can see here all these posts have the hashtag Digital Vidya. Right, see this? So you can monitor brand mentions, monitor hashtags, monitor brand hashtags, all from one dashboard. And all this is for free, by the way. That's what makes this tool so powerful. You can do all this for free, right? You can schedule posts like just like you're on Buffer. You can add the extension. You can monitor each of your social platforms from one single dashboard. Create tabs for each, streams for each, interact from here. Right? You can also listen for specific terms that where people are mentioning your brand, talking about your brand. All that can be done, right? So that's what makes Hootsuite an extremely powerful tool to social media marketers because there's so much that you can do with it. Right, so everyone's clear with Hootsuite. We've talked about how to use it for scheduling, how to use it for managing social platforms, how to use it for listening for brand terms and hashtags, monitoring them. Any questions on Hootsuite, guys? Is everyone clear? Yes, all of you clear with how to use Hootsuite? Yeah, everyone else? I see a quick yes if everyone's clear. And no questions as of now, says Gagan. Alright, great guys. So it is a very, very powerful tool. You guys should use it. As social media marketers, it will make your life much, much easier. Right, so we've looked at Hootsuite. We'll move to the next tool, which is TweetDeck. Right, so TweetDeck is a tool that's owned by Twitter. Right, it has a disadvantage that you can only use it for Twitter. Because it is owned by Twitter, you can't use it for, let's say, Facebook or Instagram. You can't use it, right? The plus point is that it is completely free, right, for any number of accounts, right? It is completely free for any number of accounts. So if I have 10 Twitter accounts to manage, let's say I have 10 clients and 10 Twitter accounts. If I use Buffer, I can only connect 3. If I use Hootsuite, I can only connect 3. More than that, I have to pay. With TweetDeck, you can connect 10 accounts for free, right? You will not have to pay for any number of accounts. That's the plus point. The minus point is that you can't really use it for other platforms. So how does it work? If you understood Buffer and Hootsuite, TweetDeck is very, very easy to understand. So you can use it for scheduling. So you can just say tweet. You can select which account you want to tweet from. I have one account connected, so only one is showing. If you have multiple accounts connected, multiple accounts will show here. You can type whatever you want to say. Then you can add images or video. You can say schedule tweet. And you can say schedule for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for example. And it will go out, right? So it works pretty much the same way as Buffer and Hootsuite, scheduling. Apart from scheduling, you can also use it just like Hootsuite to add streams. Only thing is in Hootsuite you can add tabs, and within each tab you can add streams. So it makes Hootsuite very powerful. In TweetDeck you can only add tabs, you can only add streams, you cannot add tabs. And the streams in TweetDeck are called columns, right? So you can say add column. You can choose what you want to add a column for. So let's say I want to add a column for my home feed. I would say add column. Then I would go back, I would add a column for my notifications. I would say add column. Then I would go back, let's say I want to add a column for what's trending. I can add a column for trending topics. Then I can add another column for my mentions, right? I can add a column for my scheduled tweets, right? I can add a column for my messages, right? So just like pretty much similar to Hootsuite, I can create columns like these. Again, I can interact from here. So I can like, comment, right? So like, reply, retweet from here. All this can be done. Right? right? I can also monitor. I can even use the search function just like Hootsuite. So I can use search and I can then type what I want to search for. Right? So I can, let's say, search for, let's say, digital vidya again here. I can just type it here and say search. It will now add a stream for mentions of digital. The same tweet that you saw there on Hootsuite, you can see it here as well. Great. So that's how you use TweetDeck. Like I said, if you've learned how to use Buffer and Hootsuite, TweetDeck is a breeze. It's very, very simple. Similar functionality. And like I said, you can use it for any number of accounts for free, but you can only use it for Twitter accounts. Right? Great, guys. Any questions on TweetDeck? Any questions on TweetDeck? Any questions on any of the three tools, Buffer, Hootsuite, and TweetDeck? We've talked about three tools and we've seen how powerful they are and how they can use or how they can make your life as a social media marketer much easier. Great. So, okay, which one to use finally? If you were to use one, I would suggest Hootsuite, but then it's a case-to-case basis, right? If you have a lot of accounts and you only want to use scheduling, you can use Buffer. It will work out cheaper. Hootsuite can be expensive because it has more functionality. So it's a case-to-case basis. But if you're starting out, I would suggest Hootsuite. Hootsuite is a great tool when you're starting out. A lot of functionality, a lot of things to do, makes your life much easier. So if you ask me which one, I would say obviously Hootsuite works best. Right? All right. Great. Great, guys. So we'll move on to the next set of tools, which is paid social media analytics tools. Until now, whatever we've seen are all tools which have a free version. So TweetDeck is completely free, Buffer has a free version, Hootsuite has a free version that you can use forever free. There are some tools that you should be aware of which are paid, but which have a lot of excellent functionality that you should know. Right? Let's say you're working with a big brand and you need some tools to use. You should know which tools are available in the market and what features they have. Right, so I'm going to take you through a bunch of tools. So we look at Sprout Social first. So let me take you through this on the tool itself. So Sprout Social is a very, very powerful paid social media analytics tool. It gives you a lot of functionality. If you're a large brand and you want additional advanced functionality, this is a great tool to use. Right? So it helps you with planning your content. And you can use it to figure out what content to post, right? You can use it to monitor your messages, basically monitor your entire conversation, social media management in one single dashboard, similar to Hootsuite, but it gives you a lot more advanced additional functionality. You can also use it for measurement and optimization. So it gives you access to a lot of trends, customized reporting, right? Things that you can use to make your overall marketing more efficient and more effective, right? So they've got a lot of products that you can use. One is this, which is social media management on the whole. They also have a tool for end-to-end social media marketing, where they help you with planning your content and publishing it, also monitoring your customer conversations, engagement, and then customized reporting analytics, more advanced analytics as compared to individual platforms. So so far in the last 5 weeks, we've seen Facebook Insights, we've seen Twitter Analytics, we've seen LinkedIn Analytics, we've seen Instagram Insights. What these tools like Sprout Social do is they give you a 360-degree view of your social media, right? So these are basically integrated social media analytics. You can see your entire social media, how it's performing from a business perspective, right? So these are extremely powerful from the point of view of reporting, analysis, monitoring, engagement, and they also help you with planning and publishing. So they do everything a tool like Hootsuite can do with a lot more
additional functionality and features. Right, so Sprout Social is a great tool to use. Again, these are paid tools, they don't have free versions. You can take free trials though. Another tool that's really powerful is a tool called Simplify 360. I'm sharing the links with you in the chat box. So this again helps you with actionable insights. So these are examples of tools that you call sometimes social media intelligence tools, because they not only give you analytics, but they also give you insights, actionable insights based on the analytics. So they will not only tell you data, they will also tell you what you can do with that data to make your business perform better, right? Or make your marketing perform better, right? So that's it, like it says here, perform better marketing with actionable insights, right? So it gives you a lot of data and insights, which is why they're sometimes called social media intelligence tools. You get an elaborate dashboard, so it's a like your social media command center, all platforms integrated into one dashboard where you can look at overall across all platforms, what are your brand mentions, what is your brand sentiment, what people are saying about your brand, how is the overall social media marketing working, what is the sales you're able to generate, what is the brand affinity you're able to generate, what's the total reach you're able to get across social media, right? They also give you custom reporting, so you can also customize your analytics, customize reports that you need to make. Again, extremely powerful tool that you can use. Another tool that you should be aware of is a tool called Salesforce Social Studio. Right? This tool at one point used to be called Radian 6, which was one of the most powerful social media intelligence tools available. Salesforce acquired Radian 6 and made it a part of the Salesforce suite. Today it's called Salesforce Social Studio. This again does a lot more. So there's a demo video that they have, which I'd suggest you can watch after the session. Just go to the link I just gave you, click on the watch demo, and see how it helps you. So this is an extremely powerful tool. In fact, this is probably the most expensive of all I've showed you so far. This can cost like, the tool can cost anything up to a few lakhs a month, just the cost of the tool. So this is something only large organizations will use. If you're working with a large organization and you want a really advanced tool which can give you not just data and analytics, but intelligent insights, this is a tool that you would pick, right? So you can listen to conversations. It gives you a whole bunch of things that you can do. So you can analyze conversations from any source, as it says. So across all social media, see what people are talking about you, what people are saying about your brand, your product, your service, understand brand sentiment, right? You can tune it, like I said, tune into customer sentiment, learn from real discussions, right? You can also engage, so you can respond. So it's similar. You look at this screenshot, it's very similar to Hootsuite. It can do all Hootsuite can do: respond to social posts, manage community, provide customer support, right? All that can be done from there. It also helps you to publish. So you can publish to multiple accounts. You can schedule just like Hootsuite can do. Only thing, it makes it a lot more powerful because it's integrated, gives you analytics, gives you insights across platforms, right? And it gives you a report command center like this. So you get live displays of your entire activity from this social media command center. Very useful for large brands which are doing a lot of work on social media. Let's say brands like large consumer brands, let's say like Vodafone or any other consumer brand that's really large like Flipkart or Amazon, where they have a lot of activity, a lot of buzz. You will need a tool like this to manage. Otherwise, you will not be able to manage that kind of buzz with small tools like, let's say, Hootsuite alone. Right? Great. So these are some interesting tools that you should know about. So we've looked at Sprout Social, Simplified 360, and we've also looked at Salesforce Social Studio. Right? Great, guys. So we've looked at tools here. The point of showing you the paid tools is you should be aware. Let's say you're working with uh, a big brand and you want to use a tool that gives you a lot more data and makes your entire marketing more efficient. You should be aware of what are the tools available in the market and what value can they add to you. Okay? Great, guys. So any questions on the tools overall? We've looked at all these tools. So any questions on all the tools? On Buffer, Hootsuite, TweetDeck, the paid analytics tools that I took you through? Any questions so far? If there are no questions, can we move on to the next section, which is the last section for the module, and also a very important section because it helps you put it all together, right? Helps you craft an integrated social media strategy. Okay, Jachan says, how do you interpret? Okay, how to interpret will depend on what your objective is. So if my objective is brand awareness, right, to get more brand awareness, then I would look at so I would look at data. I would see what is my reach, right? How many people am I reaching, right? What are they talking about me? So I would look at the positive sentiment, right? I would look at the negative sentiment. I would look at the neutral sentiment, right? So for example, I would look at, let's say my sentiment for the brand today is 50% positive and let's say 30% negative and 20% neutral. So 50% people are saying good things, 30% are saying bad things, 20% are neither. I would then use this and interpret and say, okay, now 50% of my sentiment is positive. I want to make it as high as possible. What can I do? So that the tool will suggest you saying that, you know what, you should do this. You should do, maybe you should run a different campaign that would change the perception. If tons and tons of data, yeah, that's exactly why you need the tool, right? If tons and tons of data are available, the tool will do this for you. Why do you think they're charging you a few lakhs a month? Why do you think they're charging you a few lakhs a month? Because they will interpret it for you. If there are, let's say, 10 lakh mentions of the brand, you can't do it manually, right? How will you know which is bad, which is good? So these tools use artificial intelligence combined with natural language understanding. So they look at natural language programming and then automatically figure out which comment is positive, which comment is negative, which comment is neutral, right? So all the 10 lakh mentions, they will process it quickly, automatically and tell you this is positive, this is negative, this is neutral, right? So you don't need to interpret it manually, right? If you had to interpret it manually, you wouldn't pay them that amount of money. You're paying them because they can use technology to make your life easier by interpreting it for you automatically without you having to do anything, right? Okay. Great. Yes. Is that clear, Jachandran? In fact, some of these tools have some of the best sentiment analysis possible. Okay. Great, guys. So let's move on to the last section of the module, which is an important section, like I said, on putting together an integrated social media marketing strategy. So in the last 5 weeks, we've looked at individual platforms, seen how we can use them at an individual level, strategize for Facebook separately, Instagram separately, right, Twitter separately, LinkedIn separately. End of the day, all these platforms that you're using have one common goal, which is to make your business grow, make your revenue grow, drive better recall visibility for your brand. So this section will see how you can put all social media platforms together into an integrated strategy that will set you up for success, right? So we look at a 10-step framework for creating a successful social media strategy. We look at auditing your current social media presence, outlining your objectives, researching your audience, researching your competitive landscape, choosing platforms to be present on, setting a budget, creating a content plan, determining your posting schedule, evaluation, and refining. Right, so these are 10 steps. We'll look at these one by one. We'll start with the first step, which is auditing your current social media presence. So let's take a case here. Let's say that you are a social media consultant and a client has come to you and they are saying that they want you to create a strategy for them. You would use this framework to create it, right? Another scenario is, let's say that you want to join a company or you've just joined a company as a social media manager and they tell you to come up with a social media strategy for the next financial year. You would then use this framework. Right? So this framework will be useful in all these cases. Creating a strategy for your own brand, your own business, for a company that you work for a client that you're signing on, all of that. Now the first step here is always doing an audit, auditing your current social media presence. If it's a new brand or a new business that's never done any social media, then there's no audit that will be required because it's a new brand, they've not done anything yet, there will be nothing to audit. But if you're joining an organization or getting a client who's been doing social media marketing for the last 2 years, then you would audit it first. Why do you need to do an audit? Quick question for you guys. Why should a strategy document always begin with an audit? Why should a strategy document always begin with an audit? Yeah, know your strengths and weaknesses. Yes, of course. So you do what we call a SWOT analysis. Assess the current situation to know the working area. Perfect, Vishal Nalok. Know better about what is done, what needs to be done. SWOT analysis, like Priyank said. What platform gave a good result? Yeah, a lot of things can be answered with an audit. So excellent, guys, all of you. Jayachandran, Vishal, Alok, Priyank, and Sudipto. Just like you said, an audit helps you analyze where you are right now. A strategy basically is a roadmap, right? What is a strategy? It's nothing but a roadmap saying that this is where we are, this is where we want to go. And it's like a roadmap from point A to point B, like Jayachandran says, where to move, right? That's a strategy. You want to know how to go from point A to point B. It's like booking a cab, right? When you book a cab, all of you booked an Uber or Ola at some point. You give your pickup and you give your drop, right? Only then they give you the map location. Even when you use maps, you say point A, this is where I want to start from, this is where I want to go. And they give you the route to go there. Same thing here. For a strategy, for roadmap, you need to know both. You need to know point A, which is where you are currently, and point B, where you want to go. We look at point A first. To understand where you are, you need to do an audit, right? This is why an audit is required. To see where you currently stand. Are you meeting your objectives? Which platforms are working? All these questions will be answered from the audit. Okay? So, in order to do an audit, this is a simple template that you can use. Right? For all the platforms that you're active on for the last 3 months, or the brand is active on. Let's say the brand in the last 3 months was active on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So for each of these platforms, you would fill this table. So you would say Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. What is the posting frequency? Right? How would you know the posting frequency when you're doing an audit? If you have to fill this table, how would you know the posting frequency? How would you find the posting frequency? Yeah, you could look at insights, right? So if you're doing an audit where you have access to insights, let's say client has given you access, or you joined a company, you have access, you can just find it from your page. If you're doing an external audit, you'll have to visit the page and look at it. But when you're actually doing an audit with access, you can just go to insights, find the posting frequency. Where will you find follower growth? Where will you find follower growth from? Let's say for Facebook, I want to find in the last 3 months, where is my followers, or how many followers I've added in the last 3 months? Where can I find that from? If I give you this table and I ask you to fill it up for, let's say, Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, if I give you and I tell you, okay, fill this table now, because you have to do the audit, how would you fill this up? Yeah, so you get follower growth from your page insights. We've already seen page insights. You can see how your follower count has grown. Yeah, we saw the graphs like Jayachandran said. You can also look at your engagement rate. So the first 3 columns you will get from the insights and analytics for each platform. That's how you will fill it up. The next one, which is ad spends, right? So ad spends you would get from your Facebook ads manager. So if you spent any money on ads, you would get from your Facebook ads manager. Yeah. That's where you get the 4th column from. 5th column is your cost per engagement, which is, let's say I spent 10,000 rupees on Facebook ads, and for 10,000 rupees that I spent, I got, let's say, 10,000 engagements. Then I know my cost per engagement is 1 rupee, right? Yeah, that's how I would do it. So I would check and I would see. So I would see which platform is getting me what kind of cost per engagement. How would you check for referral traffic? How much traffic you got from Facebook, from Instagram, from LinkedIn? The last two columns, where would you get data from for the last two columns? Referral traffic and sales from, let's say, social media platforms. Last two columns, where would you find the data to fill? All of you, last two columns. I mentioned it sometime back. Yes, I had mentioned sometime back. Google Analytics. You would use Google Analytics to find it. So those of you who have not done the Google Analytics module, the Web Analytics module, how to find this will be covered in your Web Analytics module. In that module, you will see how you can find your referral traffic from Facebook or from Instagram, etc. How many of you already done the Web Analytics module? Can I see a quick yes? How many of you already done the Web Analytics module? Rest of you? No? No one has done it? Not even one person? Not even one person has done the Web Analytics module yet? Alright, so don't worry, this will be covered in your Web Analytics module. So when you go to Web Analytics, you'll learn how to look at Google Analytics and find how much traffic came from Facebook, how much traffic came from Instagram, how much traffic came from LinkedIn, how many conversions or sales came from each, right? Great, so you'd fill this table first. Then for each platform, you would put down which categories of content you're doing and what is the engagement for each. So let's say you're doing entertaining videos, or let's say you're doing infographics, or let's say you're posting links to blogs. Which content category got you how much engagement, right? So these are two tables that you would fill. Once you fill this, it will help you answer a lot of questions. So the audit that you do based on all this data will help you answer which platform is working. So something that one of you mentioned earlier when I asked you why do you need to do an audit. So one of you, I think it was Sudipto, mentioned that you can check which platform gives you good results. So this will help you answer that question. You can see which platform is giving you the cheapest cost per engagement, the best results. You can see if your following is growing, declining, remaining the same on platforms. Are you able to create fresh content for all platforms where you are active? What types of content are you posting? What is your frequency of posting currently? Right? You can also see if customers are using social media for support. Are they reaching out to you for queries? Which channels are they reaching out to you on? Are you investing money in ads? So are you spending on Facebook ads or on LinkedIn ads or on Twitter ads? Right? Are you getting results from your ads? So is your cost per engagement in control? Is your cost per engagement good? Is it not good? Is it very expensive for you to promote content? And are you getting traffic? Is the traffic converting to revenue? Are people coming from social media to your site? Are they buying your products? All these questions will be answered. So all this will help you figure out where you currently stand, right? So the first step of the audit will tell you, okay, this is where we are. This is point A. This is where we stand. These platforms are working. These platforms are not working. This is the amount of revenue we generate, traffic we generate, right? These are all this is our current state. Now that you define point A, the next thing to do is to tell point B, which is where you want to go. You know where you are. You will then put down where you want to go, which is why objectives are really important. So here, you've assessed where you are. So now you'll say where you want to go. So you can craft a strategy to go from point A to point B. Now, when it comes to objectives, you could choose any one of these. It could be that you want brand visibility, could be engagement, could be customer support, could be traffic, or could be leads and sales as well. You'd pick any one of these objectives that your business would have, or could be multiple objectives as well. You would always ensure your objectives are what we call SMART, right? How many of you have heard of the SMART framework for setting objectives and goals? Anyone's heard of the SMART framework for goal setting or setting objectives? Pooja says yes. Anyone else? So what is Priyank also says yes. So what is the SMART framework? Pooja, Priyank and Pooja. What is the SMART? When you say SMART framework for setting objectives and goals, what does SMART stand for? Accurate says Jayachandra. A is accurate, T is timely. Yeah, kind of almost there. Anyone else? So Jayachandran, yes. T is correct. Pooja and Priyank, since you heard of it. Right, so SMART goals are basically your objectives need to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Right? Perfect, Priyank. Specific, measurable, realistic, achievable, and time bound. So this is what we call the SMART framework. When we are defining objectives for any strategy, they must be what we call SMART. So let's take an example here on SMART objectives. So let's look at this objective. It says to generate leads from social media marketing. Is this objective SMART? Yes or no? Can I say a quick yes or a quick no? Is this a SMART objective? To generate leads from social media marketing. Everyone else? Everyone else? Is this a SMART objective? Is it SMART? Well, not really. Pooja says Pooja's right. It's generic, right? Okay, is this measurable? Can you measure? Does it say how many leads? Do you want 100 leads? Do you need 500 leads? Is it clear? Is it measurable? Is this objective measurable? Can you measure? 5 months, let's say you'll say I want to get leads. 6 months later you got 2 leads. Are you going to hold yourself? What do you hold yourself accountable to? To 2 leads? Right? So is the objective SMART is what I'm asking. No, that's not the question. The question is your objective measurable? Are you stating in your objective how many leads you want? It's not whether. You can obviously measure how much you're getting, but is it clear how many leads you want? Is the objective clearly measurable? Is it time bound? Is the objective time bound? Is it going to say when you will get those 2 leads? Is it clear? The objective is not clear, right? You will set an objective to I want to get leads. After 1 year, you will get 22 leads. Right? After 1 year, you will measure and you will get 22 leads. But then, was there a goal? Did you know? Is there a target? Do you have a target here? When we say measurable, we mean the target is set. Is there a target set? There's no target, right? Do you know where you want to go? It's very vague, no? You have no goal. You don't know how many leads you want. Do you want 100 leads? If you don't know how many leads you want, how will you plan? Get the point, guys? This is not, a lot of people write objectives like this. Not a SMART objective, not correct, because you have no target in this. Right? So this is not a SMART objective. If I had to ask you to rewrite this objective to make it SMART, can you guys do that? I'll give you 30 seconds. Rewrite this objective to make it SMART. It should be specific, should be measurable, should be achievable, relevant, and time bound. Quick 30 seconds, all of you. Rewrite this and make it SMART. Yeah, Suhaib says 100 leads in the next quarter. Perfect. 100 leads in the next quarter. Excellent, Suhaib. What about everyone else? Priyank is perfect. Again, it says to generate 100,000 leads from Facebook and Instagram in 3 months. Excellent. Is this a better way of putting it rather than what you see on the screen? What about everyone else? Everyone else? Increase leads from social media marketing by 20%. That's fine, but you need a time also, Karthik. So 20% by when? By 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Yeah. Jajan says 150 leads from the children section, 50 from 45 plus. Okay. 10 leads per month using Instagram and Facebook. Perfect. So that is exactly what SMART objectives should be like. When you're writing a strategy, the worst thing you can do is to write objectives like this. which have no clear goal in sight. Nothing is clear, right? So you do it as you guys have written now. Something like this, right? To generate 300 leads over the next 6 months through social media marketing efforts. Now this is a smart objective because is it specific? Yeah, it says 300. Is it measurable? Yes, you know that in 6 months you have to get 300. So now you know you have a clear goal in mind, right? So you know that, okay, we have to get 300. After 2 months, if you only get 50, you know something is wrong. You're not on target. You have to change something. And after 3 months, if you're only getting 100, you know you're short of your target. You'll have to increase your rate at which you're generating leads, right? So that's why objectives need to be smart. Is everyone clear with this? How do you, when you're crafting a strategy, how do you ensure objectives are measurable and time bound? Yeah. Okay. Jayachandran, hang on. Cost benefit ratio is more a business term. We'll come back to it. Just ping that question back to me in the Q&A. It's not a social media term as such. It's more a business term. It's more a accounting term than a social media term. But yeah, hang on. I'll clarify it in the Q&A. Don't worry. Just paste it back to me in the Q&A. I will answer it. All right. Great. So now that we've done the first two steps, so we did an audit. So we audited, found out where we stand, what is our current status. Then we set smart objectives to see where we want to go. So now you know where you are, where you want to go. The third thing is doing your audience profiling. This is really important because if you don't know who you want to reach, how will you actually reach them, right? To market effectively, you must know your audience in and out, right? So defining your audience is important because you need to know who you're creating content for, right? If you know who your audience is, you'll create content that they will connect with, that will resonate with them. You'll get better brand recall, right? Chance of them converting would be higher. You can target them effectively on social media advertising platforms like Facebook ads, for example. If you guys remember, you saw how targeted Facebook ads can get. If you don't know who your audience is, how will you target them, right? We had in fact, in the last session or the session before that, Gagan had a question, if Gagan's still around, on how do you define your audience, and we talked about this in the Q&A. I don't know how many of you were around then, right? So Gagan, this is just to recap what we discussed the other day on audience definition, right? So when you're defining your audience, you don't just define it demographically, you also define it behaviorally. A lot of people will define their audience saying 25 plus, living in these cities, male and female both. That's not enough because you wouldn't know how to reach out to them effectively. So you do demographics, their age, their gender, their location. You would also want to know more about where they work, right? What would their job functions be, right? What would their income be, for example? The more data you can get, the more effective your marketing will be, right? So what would their interests be? What would their offline behavior be, online behavior? Would they shop frequently? Would they travel frequently? Do they shop online? And are they part of, let's say, certain clubs like, let's say, the Lions Club or the Roundtable Conference? Right? What sites or blogs would they visit on a daily or a weekly basis? Right? All these are things that you would figure out about your audience. So how do you find this data? Again, we discussed this in the Q&A the other day with Gagan. But quick question: how do you find all this information about your audience? All of you, how will you get to know more about who your audience really is? What are the different ways? Yeah, one is a primary survey, like we discussed the other day. So you can survey them directly, speak to them, understand what their interests are, behaviors are. Insight, says Jayachandran. Yes, what else? Anyone else? How can a business get to know more about their target audience? Because it's very important. We've already seen why it is important. So how do you get to know more about your audience? Any other answers? Any other ways in which you can get to know more about your audience? There's a whole bunch of things you can do. One is customer surveys, like we just mentioned. So you could either speak to them directly, or you could do surveys which you could circulate, through tools like SurveyMonkey. So I mentioned SurveyMonkey the other day when we were discussing it with Gagan in the Q&A. SurveyMonkey is a great tool to create free surveys, which you can then circulate through your, let's say, your friends, your WhatsApp groups that you're members of, request people you know to fill it up. Of course, people you know, but they should be your target audience. For example, if you're doing a consumer product, then you could circulate it to, let's say, your friends and family because they're all consumers. But if you're doing a B2B product, then you have to circulate it to the right audience. Get the right audience to fill up the survey. Right? So if you're in the B2B space, because it's very niche, you can also speak to them. So ideally, when you're, let's say you're in a client meeting, after the meeting is over or during the meeting, you can ask casual questions like, okay, where do you get your information from? What magazines do you read in the industry? Which industry blogs do you follow? Which industry sites do you follow? Right? All this helps you in understanding more about them. Then you can use insights through various platforms. So we already saw Facebook Insights, Instagram Insights. All these platforms give you data into who your audience is. For example, in the LinkedIn Insights section, LinkedIn Analytics, if you remember, I showed you, you can connect your website to LinkedIn using the LinkedIn Insight tag. So we covered this in the LinkedIn ads section. You can put the LinkedIn Insight tag on your website. It will then tell you the designations of people visiting your website. So you can then find what is the job title of people visiting your website, right? What is their function, right? What is their seniority level? All this data comes to you just by using LinkedIn Insights, right? So you can get so much data on who are the people visiting your site, who are the people visiting certain pages, what are their functions, titles, seniority, right? Locations, all of that data can be got from there. And you can also use audience insights from Google Analytics. Again, this is something that will be covered in your web analytics section, where you can look at people on your website, what are their interests, right? So Google Analytics will tell you what are their interests, right? What are they in the market for? What are they ready to buy? A lot of data that you get from these tools. Right, so you can use a combination of all of these to get to know more about who your audience really is. And like I said, that's really important because if you don't know who your audience is, if you don't have clear audience definitions, you will not be able to use social media marketing effectively, both from a content creation perspective as well as from an ad targeting perspective. You need to know your audience really well. Great. Next is step 4. So you've done your audit, you outlined your objectives, you've analyzed and researched your audience. Next is you do a competitor analysis. What is the benefit of doing a competitor analysis? What is the benefit of doing a competitor analysis? Why should you do a competitor analysis? Jachan says copy. Okay, yeah. Copy the strategy. Yes. All right. You might want to see what's working for them and then draw learnings from that, apply to yours also. What else? See what they're doing right. Not just what they're doing right, but also what they're doing wrong, both. So you can learn from their mistakes also. Be proactive, says Jachandran. Yeah. See what hashtags they're using. A lot of things that you can do. So basically, your competitor's audience is same as your audience, right? What's working for them would most likely work for you. What's not working for them would most likely not work for you. So it gives you a head start. Instead of starting from scratch, you can look at your competitors who are doing a good job in the social media marketing space. Understand what's working for them. Learn from their successes. Understand what's not working for them. Learn from the mistakes also. Learning from mistakes is more important than learning from successes, because you don't want to waste money on something that you know has not worked for your competitors, right? Unless you want to do it differently. Great. So how do you do a competitor analysis? Well, first thing is you make a list of competitors across all platforms. So Facebook, you'll make a list. Instagram, you make a list. Twitter, you make a list. LinkedIn, you make a list. Wherever you're active, you make a list of competitors. Before you make a list, go see if they're active on the platform. See if they've posted at least once in the last couple of weeks or once in the last 1 week. See who's active. Make a list of all your competitors. Then analyze what's working for them. So ideally, the best way to do a competitor analysis in social media is to go through their page manually. It might be a little bit of manual work, but trust me, it gives you much better results. Because though you have tools to give you overall comparison of followers, likes, and engagement, when you actually look at it manually, you can see what's working. You can look at a content. Let's say you see a video and you see the video has 10,000 shares. You can watch, analyze, and learn what worked in the video. Let's say you see a certain post that's got a lot of comments, like 1,000 comments. You can see what worked. You'll understand a lot more when you manually go through your competitor pages and see their top content. Let's see what's worked for them, what's not worked. You'll get a very good idea, right? So you look at what are they posting, right? What categories are working for them, right? What post types are they using? Which of the post types are resonating the most with the target audience? How frequently do they post? All this data will help you figure out what are the best performing content categories and best performing post types. You can then use this to make your marketing better. So now you know what's working. You can do more of what's working. You know what's not working, and you can do less of that. So it gives you a head start rather than starting from zero. Right? So we've seen 4 steps so far: auditing, setting your objectives, researching your audience, and doing a competitor analysis. Next, you would choose your platforms, right? So we've talked about, these are 6 platforms we've covered until now: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and Pinterest. So I had asked you this question in the very first session. I'm going to ask you again. Does a business have to be on all 6 platforms? Does a business have to be on all 6 platforms? Obviously not. You would choose the platform based on certain conditions. So on what basis would you choose platforms to be active on? Yeah, the demographics of your audience. Yes, what else? Depends on the business. Say Sham, target audience, say Vishal and Gagan. Yeah. So basically it depends on, you'd pick platforms where your audience is active the most, platforms that best meet your business and marketing objectives. And you'd also see what's worked for your competitors. So if some platforms are working for your competitors, you would pick that as well, right? So again, quick check. So if you have a business which is, let's say, where the target audience is 35 plus, would you choose Snapchat? Would you choose Snapchat? Obviously not, because we said Snapchat in India is largely 15 to 25 years of age, right? 90% of Snapchat audience in India is 15-25%. You would not pick it. Okay, let's take another example. Let's say I'm an e-commerce company and I'm selling low cost, or I wouldn't say low cost, I'd say reasonably priced jewelry. So reasonable fashion jewelry online. In this case, what platforms would I choose? What would my top platforms be? My target audience is pan India, 25, or let's say, sorry, let's say 18 plus to, let's say 18 to 45, right? So what would my platforms be? Pinterest and Insta say Harshit. Instagram and Facebook says Vishal. Pinterest says Priyank. Snapchat and Pinterest says Jayachandran. Facebook and Instagram. So if I would ask you the top 3 platforms to be active on, can you give me top 3, not just one? I want the top 3. Top 3 platforms. E-commerce business selling fashion jewelry online, not very expensive. Target audience pan India, 18 to 45. Snapchat, Instagram, Pinterest says Jayachandran. Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook says Harshit. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Yeah. So if I were to pick, I would pick Facebook first. Why would I pick Facebook first? Because it's the largest platform, right? Facebook is the largest platform, very powerful advertising. You can be very targeted, reach out to specific audiences. Facebook ads is massive and powerful. So I would use Facebook. Next, I would choose Instagram because Instagram is again a platform where the audience is younger, the youth is there. The youth audience might be more comfortable buying all this online. You can reach out to college students who want to buy like fashion jewelry, right? You can reach out to your relevant audience on Instagram. So second would be Instagram. And third would be a choice. I would most likely choose, it would be a choice between Pinterest and Snapchat. I would choose Pinterest over Snapchat personally, but you can experiment with Snapchat as well, right? So this is how you would figure. Jachan says, can we say every promotion can have Facebook? Almost. I won't say every. Almost every promotion can have Facebook. The exclusions is some very niche B2B brands may not find value in Facebook. Niche B2B brands may not find value in Facebook. Sudipta says, why Facebook leads are not as good as Google AdWords? Okay, that's a good question. It's a little off topic. But since you asked, I'll just... Okay, Sudipta, can we keep that question for the end, if that's okay? Can we keep that question for the Q&A? Don't worry, I will not close the session till I answer your question. Just copy, paste it back in the Q&A to me. Priyank says, Snapchat won't target people with buying power like age more than web. Yes, it won't. It won't. Snapchat is 15-25. If you want to reach like, let's say 20-year-olds, since it's low cost jewelry and it's like 300 rupees, 400 rupees range jewelry, or even like 250 to 400, you might want to target 20-year-olds on Snapchat also, right? So, but then, like I said, the top two would be Facebook and Instagram. Then most likely Pinterest. You might choose Snapchat if you want, right? So that's how you pick platform. Everyone's clear? How do you pick platforms? Depending on, let's say a client comes to you, then you know how to pick up which platforms to choose for them as part of the strategy. Everyone, all of you, we've seen a couple of examples. Can I see a quick yes? Everyone's clear with how do you pick the right platforms? Yeah. All right, next is setting a budget. So now we've chosen our platforms. We know the audience. We've done a complete analysis. We know where we are. We know where you want to go. Next is setting a budget that you will commit to your strategy. Right, so you will determine your budget based on your objectives as well as what your business marketing budget is. Right, so how does it work? With most businesses, it works this way. So let's say I'm a business or I'm a brand and I know I have a marketing budget for the year, which is let's say 5 crores. Out of my marketing budget, I will allocate, let's say, on an average, depending on the business type, 3 crores to digital marketing. Out of 3 crores, let's say I allocate 1.5 crores to social media marketing. Now I know I have 1.5 crores for the year. So I can now split my budget across the 3 platforms that I've chosen, and across the 4 platforms or whatever that I've chosen. Let's say I would say Facebook, I would invest, let's say, in the same business that we talked about earlier. Let's say Facebook is 75 lakhs. Instagram, I would put, let's say, 50 lakhs. And balance 25 lakhs would be on the other platforms, right? So that's how budgeting is done. Now, one thing you should remember is this budgeting is not written in stone. After, let's say, 3 months, if I find Instagram is doing better than Facebook, I can move budget from Facebook to Instagram. Or if I find I'm getting more sales from Pinterest as compared to Instagram, I could move budget there, right? So that's something to keep in mind, is budgets are flexible. And you must account for these costs. Sometimes you make budgets without accounting for the cost of paid ads. If you're hiring an agency, your agency cost will also go there. If you're hiring a consultant, hiring an agency to manage it for you, you would pay them, right? So you need to analyze and put down that cost as well. You would also include costs of content creation. So let's say you're creating video content specifically for social media. You would include those costs also. And you would also include the cost of tools. Let's say you're buying a tool to manage your social media using a paid tool. You would include the cost of paid tools as well, right? So a lot of times when we are budgeting, we only think of paid promotions. We miss out on all the other things, right? You'll miss out on agency costs, miss out on content creation costs, miss out on tool costs. So when you're budgeting, always keep these in mind, right? Alright, so that's the budget. How do you set a budget and how do you allocate your budgets? Next is creating a content plan. What is the agency? Agency cost is cost of hiring an agency. If you're hiring an agency, let's say you're a brand and you're hiring a digital marketing agency to work for you to do your, let's say, manage social media, manage your ads, they would charge you a cost, they would charge you a fee, right? Agency won't work for free, right? They'll charge you an agency fee. That is the cost of the agency. So agencies would charge you a monthly fee for managing, or a consultant would charge you a monthly fee. Understood, Priya? Yeah. Okay. All right. Next is you would create a content plan in a calendar. So you'd put on all the content that you can create. So you can create articles, you can create text posts, images, videos, polls, right? You can find content from other sources. You can look at, let's say, anything that is of value to your audience that somebody else has posted. You could use GIFs and memes, right? So you would see that you'd look at different types of content. One thing you should remember is different types of content work better on different platforms. For example, images might work better on Pinterest, polls might work in Instagram stories, right? Videos might work better on Facebook. So you would figure out what type of content would work better on which platform. And now that you've understood the platforms, by now you know the nitty gritties of each platform. You understood Facebook, understood Instagram, Instagram stories, Snapchat, Pinterest. You know what kind of content works with the audience on each. So you should keep that in mind when creating your content for different platforms, right? You can do different categories. So you can do informative content. We already discussed this before, just recapping the kind of content that you can do, right? Questions that your audience would have, problems that your audience face, content that would drive an emotional connect. We've looked at a lot of content examples in the last 5 weeks. In week 1, we saw a whole bunch of content examples from Facebook. We saw examples from Instagram, right? We saw examples on Twitter for what brands have done. We saw Snapchat, right? So all the platforms we've seen, and in the very first session I told you, content forms the basis or the foundation of your social media strategy. So ensure that you do that correctly, right? Also, like I said, it's unlikely that all content types will work. Some will work, some might not work, right? So those that you'll have to keep testing different content types and you'll have to see what's working and what's not, right? All right, next is, now that you know your content and you have a content strategy in place, we've already discussed content strategy in the earlier earlier sessions that we talked about for individual platforms. You then determine how often you should post. This is a question I've answered multiple times over the last 5 weeks. Like I said, posting schedule will differ from platform to platform. Platforms with a strong algorithmic feed, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you would only post when you have high quality content, because on these platforms, quality beats quantity any day. If you overpost and post random stuff, the algorithm will penalize you. So focus on quality, post awesome content at least once or twice a week. Platforms like Twitter, where the feed is partly algorithmic and users can opt out of it as well, you would probably tweet more often. So on Twitter, you can even do like 3 to 5 tweets a day on an average, right? Next is evaluation. So now that you've set up your strategy, you have everything in place, you know what you're going to do, what platforms you're going to be on, how much budget you're going to spend, all that you have here. You would now track and evaluate, right? So you would define how will you measure the effectiveness, right? How will you measure the effectiveness of your entire social media marketing strategy, right? How will you check if it's on track? Are you getting results? So your metrics will vary depending on objectives. So if your objective is brand awareness, you'd measure reach, impressions, follower growth, brand lift. If your objective is engagement, you'd measure post engagements, engagement rate, cost per engagement. Likewise, your objective is customer service, you'd see how fast you're resolving the issues. If your objective is to get traffic, you'd measure traffic. And if your objective is to get leads and sales, you would measure leads and revenue that you generated, right? So you would ideally do this weekly or monthly. So you'd set up a reporting schedule where every week you would check, measure and see, are you getting results? If your objective was to get 500 leads in 6 months, are you on track there, right? Because within every week when you measure, you'll know, are you reaching the target or you're not going to reach the target. And then you'd constantly measure, evaluate, and also constantly refine your performance. That's the last step and the most important, is as you keep checking your metrics, you keep testing things, you'll figure out what's working, what's not working, and you'd constantly refine and optimize your plan and strategy to ensure that your marketing keeps getting better and better over time, right? So if you keep doing this, your smart objectives that you set keep getting smarter because you are able to evaluate and refine over time. So your whole marketing strategy constantly gets more effective as you go along, right? Great, guys. So that's the 10-step framework. Just to recap the framework for creating a strategy, we've looked at auditing your current social media presence, finding point A, outlining your objectives by the SMART framework, which is point B, doing audience research, competitor analysis, picking your platforms, setting and allocating budgets, creating a content strategy, determining your posting schedule for each platform, establishing metrics to measure performance, evaluating and refining constantly to keep getting better, right? Great, guys. So any questions on the strategy overall? This is something that's really important that you will use as you go further and build a strategy for your business, your brand, organization that you're working for. So any questions on the framework that we just discussed, the 10-step strategy framework? No? Is everyone clear? All of you? Can I see a quick yes if everyone's clear with the strategy framework? All of you? Great, guys. Awesome. So in that case, well, we are done with what we had to cover. Let me take you through your assignment. This is your last task for the social media marketing module. Let me take you through your task. Just give me 1 minute while I take you through your task. All right. So as always, you can go to your LMS, go to your certified social media marketing master course. This is the last week, which is week 5, Pinterest marketing, social media tools, and social media strategy. So your task for today is on Hootsuite. So we saw Hootsuite, we saw how powerful it is, right? And we saw how you can use it effectively as a marketer. So your task is to basically use Hootsuite to schedule a post and listen for conversations. We've actually covered this entire thing. I've shown it to you live. We've done a complete live demo. So you can actually go and just use it, try it out yourself. So the first step is to sign up for Hootsuite, connect your social media pages and accounts. So I showed you how to do it already during the session today. Then you would schedule a post to your social media pages. So I showed you how to schedule as well. The instructions are also in the task. You can read the instructions if you want to. In fact, you can also just rewatch the recording if you get stuck, because I took you through a live demo of the entire platform step by step. So all these steps you already covered today. Then you'd create tabs. I showed you how to create tabs. And then for each tab, you'd create streams. You can create a stream for your scheduled posts, right? Then you could create tabs for each social platform to manage all your social platforms from one dashboard. Again, I showed you how to create tabs for, let's say, Twitter, create streams to manage your entire Twitter, entire Facebook from one platform, right? You would also set up a tab for listening. So I showed you how to set up a tab, how to search for, we search for digital Vidya. All if you remember, we search for digital Vidya, we search for Vodafone mentions, we search for specific hashtags. So we discussed this just today. So what I suggest you guys do is go sign up for Hootsuite, try this out. And if you get stuck, you can always come back here, go through the entire step-by-step process, or just rewatch the recording because we did it completely step-by-step. So everything that is here, I actually showed you step-by-step. You can come back and take a look at the recording as well. And you can install the Hootlet browser extension also. So I showed you how to install the extension, which makes your life even easier. Right, so we've covered this entire thing live in this entire task has already been covered live in the session today. So you guys can either watch the recording or read the instructions in every step to help you complete it. Any questions on the task, guys? Any questions on this task? No? Any questions on the task? All clear? Alright, great guys. So with that, we are done with what we had to cover for the social media marketing module. Before I give you the feedback link and before we move on to Q&A, just a quick word for you. Over the last 5 weeks, we've covered all social platforms end to end. In fact, the course would have helped you build a very, very strong foundation in each platform that you go ahead and build skyscrapers on. In fact, I'd say that your learning starts now, because when you go out there and apply what you learned, work in the space, you'll keep learning. The beauty of the digital marketing space is you learn so much every day, right? For me as a person, I learn so many new things every day. In fact, that's what's so exciting about digital marketing, is every day you have new things. Every day you learn so much that you can uh, apply, so many new things that you can try. Right, so go ahead and keep staying up to date with the space. I've already given you this earlier, but I'm going to give it to you again. To stay up to date, you have a site called Marketing Land. I showed this to you in an earlier session. So Marketing Land has a weekly newsletter which helps you stay up to date with all the changes, all the new updates, latest updates in the social media marketing space. Right? So your learning starts now as you keep applying this, working in the space. Like I do, you will also learn a lot of new things every day. And I'd wish you all the best for all those efforts that you're going to put in and all the results that you get out of it. Right? Great, guys. So before we move on to Q&A, quick feedback link for you guys. So here you go. That's the link to the feedback. This is the module feedback. So you'll have to log into your LMS and then answer it. So I'm going to keep quiet for the next 1 minute. Let you guys fill up this in peace. Once you guys are done, let me know. And then we'll start taking questions one by one. Right? Some of you had questions I told you to keep for the end. Don't worry, I will not close the session till all your questions are answered. And then those of you who are in a hurry to leave, after you're done with the feedback, let me know. And then you guys can carry on. It's been absolutely wonderful interacting with each one of you over the last 5 weeks. And like I said, I wish you guys all the best for all your social and digital marketing efforts going forward. Okay? Great, guys. I'm going to keep quiet now for the next 1 minute. Let you guys fill it up in peace. Let me know once you guys are done. And then we'll take questions one by one.
Done, guys. Everyone else, can I see a quick yes if you guys are done? Everyone else, I have Gagan says done. Everyone else, if you guys are done, we'll start with the questions one by one. Everyone else, guys? I have 3 guys who said done. What about the rest of you? Can you let me know once you guys are done, and then we can start with questions one by one? Rest of you guys done? Can I see a quick yes again? I have so Gagan, Sarthak, Vishal, Sudipto, Sham say done. What about the rest of you? Harshit, Chayachandran, Karthik, Pooja, Priyank, Rahul, uh, the rest of you? Are you guys done? I'm going to keep quiet for another quick uh, 1 minute. And once you guys are done, you guys can let me know. And then we'll start taking questions one by one. All right, great guys. Everyone else? Again, can I say a quick yes? That's the link again if any of you have not done it yet. Great. So let's start questions one by one while the rest of you fill it up. So I'm going to start with, you guys can start dropping your questions in chat box. If you want to use the mic, let me know. And you can use the mic as well. So I'm going to start with Jayachandran's question first. Jayan says, for example, a small bakery with 20 lakh turnover, how will SMM work? What can be the budget? How will posting something like cinema, politics, etc. generate leads or brand awareness? What about video content for small shops? Do we need a photographer or a videographer for shoot for posting every week? Okay. So see, if it's a small business, let's say a small bakery with a small turnover, for them, I would say having a page, posting every week, maybe once a week, it could be generic content that their audience would find relevant, right? As long as it is driving visibility for them, it makes sense. Now, for a small bakery, mostly people would come to them from within a certain radius. So they might have like a 3 kilometer radius or a 2 kilometer radius to from which people would come. So whenever they create content, they should target it to this 2 kilometer radius alone. Because anyone engaging from let's say I have a bakery in Chennai, somebody from Bangalore might not be interested in that bakery at all. So unlikely that they would get any results from it. So they should focus more on engaging with the audience in that area. So they can do hyperlocal advertising. With a small budget, they can only reach people around that area unless they're planning to expand. If they're not planning to expand, it's a small bakery in one area, single shop. They can use Facebook ads. Maybe they can give offers. They can give coupons. They can talk about, let's say, they have birthday cakes that they're doing. They can target people with a birthday coming up in that area. They can target people who, of friends of people with a birthday coming up in that area. It's all those targeting options can be utilized very effectively, right? Posting alone might not be the best for them, right? They could do posts that are basically focused on driving results, nothing else. So otherwise, it would be they would not see ROI from it. For a small business, I'd say spend money only on driving consideration for the product, getting people to walk into the bakery, driving awareness in the surrounding area. That's broadly it, right? If you keep creating a lot of expensive content, might not work. They could do low cost video as well, so that might be another option, right, Jayachandran? The focus should be on spending the money to get people to become aware of the bakery in the vicinity and also to get them to come to the bakery and make purchases by using Facebook ads and Instagram ads effectively. Right? Does that clarify? Okay. If I ran Facebook ads for one of my US clients from my Facebook, How can I select the US time zone from the campaign page? Okay, Sudipto, in this case, you would use Business Manager, right? If you remember in the Facebook ad session, I told you about Business Manager. From Business Manager, you would create a new ad account for a US client, and the new ad account, you can add a US time zone, right? That's how you would proceed. Create Facebook Business Manager, create a new ad account. For every ad account, you can set a time zone and set a US time zone for them. Right? So you can run one. You can have one ad account for all your US clients also if you want. Not ideal, but if you want to do it that way, you can do it that way. Does that clarify, Sudipta? Vishal says, what would an effective strategy be to increase followers on Instagram? Posting time in India and how many times a day should I post? Okay, to increase followers on Instagram, one, like I said, the most important thing is to create the right kind of content, right? Be consistent in creating content that would add value to your audience. That's the first thing. To increase followers more than anything else, using the right hashtags will get you is the best way to drive followers on Instagram. Use hashtags, uh, comment or interact with other people, right? Interact with people, follow, comment. All this will help. Contests are a great way to drive followers. Uh, Apart from this, you can also run ads to drive followers, as in you can run ads to promote your content to the right audience, and that would again help you drive followers. The most important thing is great content. Uh, Interact with the right people, follow them, comment on their posts, let them know you're there. Use the right hashtags, create contests. These are the best ways to go about driving followers on Instagram. Right? Okay. Except content, what are the parameters to increase followers? Oh, well, without content, there's nothing. Like very first session, Jason, if you remember that slide, uh, if you don't have content on social media, let me show you that slide again. Hold on. I'm just going to open that slide because that's where we started. We'll finish also there because, hang on. I'm just opening that slide for you. So in this very first session, we talked about social media. This was session one. And we talked about how content is the foundation of every social media strategy. Without content, if you want to grow a tree without roots, you cannot grow a tree without roots, right? What a root is to a tree, content is to social media. If you don't have content, driving followers is difficult, right? Except content, there are no other parameters to increase followers because it all starts with content. Why should someone follow you? There should be a reason, right? You should have something to give them in return, no? It could be great content, could be something, could be a video, could be entertainment, could be engaging stuff, could be value. You have to give something in return, right? Why would people follow you otherwise? Right? Does that clarify, Jayachandran? Jayachandran, that's, yeah, sorry, that clarifies. Okay, perfect. All right. Any other questions? Sadipsa says, good question. Why are Facebook leads not as good as Google ads? Well, the primary reason for this on why Facebook leads are not as good as Google ads is one, Google ads are search driven, right? If I'm assuming you're talking about Google search, correct? You're talking about Google search, Aditya? Correct? Yes. Correct? Yeah. Search is intent driven. People are searching means they want to buy. They have intent. Facebook ads are not intent driven. It's discovery, right? Search is what we call pull. People are coming to you by asking for you. Facebook is push. You're pushing your product in front of them, right? So after you push, the inquiry might not be as strong as a search inquiry where people have intent, right? That's the difference between pull and push or search versus discovery. That's one of the key reasons why the lead quality is not as good on Facebook as compared to Google ads, Google search particularly. The other thing with Facebook leads, if you're using Facebook lead forms are very easy to fill, right? The friction is very low. And because people can submit inquiries in like 2 steps without even filling a form, sometimes you have accidental fills, right? To prevent accidental fills, we generally add something called custom questions to Facebook lead forms. which you'll hear understand in the Facebook ads module. That's how you increase your lead quality from Facebook lead ads, by adding custom questions or by using what you call high intent forms. You have high intent forms which are swipe to submit. You can use that as well. Right? So I'm just putting it down the chat box for you. So that's how you increase your quality from Facebook. Does that answer? Sudipto? Yes, no? Okay. Or any other questions from the rest of you? So those of you still around, Gagan, Jayachandran, Pooja, Sham, Sudipto, Vishal. Any other questions from the rest of you? Any other questions from the rest of you? No? If everyone's clear, then can we close? Yeah? If everyone's clear, can we close? Yes. Okay. All right, great, guys. Thank you so much again. It's been absolutely amazing interacting with each one of you over the last 5 weeks. Thanks a lot. And like I said, wish you guys all the best for your social and digital marketing efforts. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.